All right. Let's do this thing. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cantina MX Football Podcast, episode 449. Hey, it's going to be packed with a lot of action tonight because we had a double jornada in Liga MX. Match week 3 just ended over the weekend, but we already had match week 4 matches today, Tuesday, January 28th. We had some great matchups between León and Chivas, América San Luis, Tigres, Tijuana, Puebla, Mazatlan. We're going to be going over that. And of course, a lot of drama with Anselmi's departure from Cruz Azul. Very controversial. We're going to talk about that. We also have some abroad action. Santi Jimenez, Johan Vasquez killing it. And some of Santi's comments that rubbed me the wrong way. We're going to get into it tonight on YouTube, on Twitter Spaces. And this episode will be recorded to be distributed on Spotify, Apple, you name it, we're there. Before I go any further, I want to welcome my good friend and co-host, Joel. Joel, how we doing?
What's up, Jaime? I missed Chivas game, but going by you guys' reactions, I'm guessing things didn't go so well.
Yes. We're going to get into that. You know, the protagonist of the match did not go to a player. You know, they had this poster set up. It looked really nice, the graphic between James Rodriguez and Chicharito, you know, teammates on Real Madrid, and we really thought that that was going to be the story tonight. But no, the referee, Oscar Mejia Garcia, decided to be the antagonist, made some questionable calls that hurt both León and Chivas, but in the end, Chivas ended up losing 2-1 on the road to León. We also have Diaz joining us, number one Cruz Azul fan. How we doing?
Buenas, putos. Pues ya saben, it was an interesting day. Actually, an interesting overall evening to watch football. And I don't know, man. I think most of all I think we gotta have a conversation because there seems to be a lot of things that rub you the wrong way. You know, a little bit of lube goes a long way, my dear good sir.
No Diddy. I agree, though. Got to use that natural stuff, some coconut oil. I have a tube that I got from Costco.
Baby oil.
No Diddy oil. But yeah, I mean, let's get right into it with the León Chivas game. It just ended 2-1. It started with León scoring first, 1-0. Chivas had a breakaway with Gamberos, who got the start today. And he got brought down in the box. Referee called a PK. But after review, the defender touched the ball first and then the player, so it was overturned. And Abdias called it in penal. I don't know. He was trying to school me on the correct term for when a call is, I guess, reversed.
No, güey, perdón, estaba en mute. Es impenal.
Impenal.
Impenal. Y la cosa fue, güey, if you guys don't remember last tournament when this whole thing came about where the refs' mic gets turned off and they explain their decision to the audience, one of the first matches where this happened, the official said impenal, which then caused this whole shitstorm in Mexico as to what is the correct grammar to use. Que si el árbitro está pendejo, why are we giving them a mic? They're fucking idiots. And then La Escuela Real de Español sale y dice, no pendejos, this is the way that you're supposed to say it. And it became a whole beautiful thing.
Yep. On that goal from León, I forgot to mention James Rodriguez with the assist. So keep going. Chivas end up tying the game thanks to Yael Padilla. Honestly, it was a really good attack from El Tilón Chavez's son, Mateo. And Yael put it in the back of the net. And 1-1, we headed into halftime. I think that was a really good first half. In the second half, though, the referee calls another penalty, this time in favor of León. And another PK that was non-existent. I know that there was a handball on that play, but it was a soft penalty call. And, Leon puts it away for the 2-1. Surprised that J-Rod, that's what I'm calling James Rodriguez, J-Rod did not step up to take the PK. I thought that was very interesting. But going to try and finish this off here with one of the last plays of the match. Chivas decide to put all the carne en el asador with Javier Hernandez, with Hormiga. And on a breakaway, Cade Cowell looks like he's very close to scoring, hands it off to Hormiga. Hormiga puts it in the back of the net. We celebrate. Referee calls it offside. And this is where I have my bone to pick. He does not go to VAR. He just, hangs out with his headset on. And they just decided to call it offsides. I don't agree with the call. I thought it was a legit goal. But that's how the story ends. 2-1. Leon wins.
I really had first. Do you think it was a bad call by the ref?
On which one? Because he had a lot of bad calls.
The tying goal. What would have been the tying goal for Chivas?
All right, this is my argument with offside calls and all that. If it's a goal, you have to have conclusive evidence that it was offsides, right? You need to have enough evidence to say, yeah, this needs to be overturned in favor of offsides. And I don't think it was conclusive. It was a very, very tight call. I think Hormiga's cuticles might have been offside. Like, it was very close. And honestly, from what we saw on the pitch today from both teams, this game should have ended in a draw. This game should have ended 2-2.
I don't know if you guys remember, there had been talk about a rule where each team would have three VAR, like
It was gonna be two.
Two.
It was gonna be two, and if you win on both, you get a third.
Wow.
Wait, two. But what was it called? Two.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge. You get to challenge the play.
Yeah, that you could request the VAR. Yeah, for a certain place and mandatory,
Yeah.
And I thought it was gonna be for. I thought they were gonna use it for this season, but I remember hearing about it, and I don't know what happened with that. But this would have been good for Chivas that they had.
All right, let me chime in on that one with a little bit of info. FIFA still testing it out in their sub-23 World Cup is where they debuted it, where you get two challenges, and if you win on both, you'll get a third. It's still up in the air whether or not that's going to be implemented, and if it's going to hit the rest of the leagues or not. I like it too. It makes it interesting. It allows you a little give and take. Now, here's my take, and, como dijo siempre, güey, como siempre he dicho, hay chance que soy pendejo. But is it an offside if it's a deflection off of a defense?
Yeah, right.
And your guy was habilitado, because that's the whole fucking thing. That was the play.
Exactly.
It bounces off of a defense, and Hormiga, like you said, he didn't trim his pubes this morning, so he was a little bit offsides.
Yeah.
But it looked good.
I agree with the deflection. That should immediately,
Te debe de
enable.
habilitar. Es lo mismo como si it's just like if the goalie parries, you are able to go after it.
The remate. Yep. And, I think this is just like an overall arching theme with VAR. For me, it just needs to be held consistently. It's still, to me, very unclear when a ref can and cannot go to VAR. And I think they need to enforce it to review every single goal. And I think the whole, giving each team two, kind of like how they do in, the NFL, I think that'd be really cool. Because then all of a sudden it's a strategy. Like, when should I use it? When should I not use it? Should we call this, should we throw the flag now? I think that would be a lot better than the system that they have going on right now. And one thing I want to add with the referee, Oscar Mejia Garcia, he's only had 2 matches this season as central ref. He's gotten... He's dished out 11 yellow cards, and today he gave a red card to Oscar Garcia, Chivas' head coach, which, by the way, the León player shoved him. He almost fell. He almost fell, he got shoved to the benches. And the players...
He was going to fall into like a dugout.
He was going to fall into the dugout if it wasn't for the players that were, keeping him balanced. And then as a retaliation, he kicks James Rodriguez and he gets the fucking red card. I'm like, no, bro. Like, you gave the player a yellow, give him a yellow too. It's a make it equal for both.
Wait, the coach got the red card?
Coach got the red card, player got a yellow. I don't
Come on, man.
I don't
Don't
agree
you
with
hold
that.
your coaches to higher standards, though.
No,
Yeah.
I think you should. If you're gonna send off the coach for retaliating, you got to give the player a red card too, or give them both yellows. But you can't give one because like the reaction was not bigger than the initial,
Yeah.
aggression.
Yeah,
That is
man.
true, because if you watch the playback, it's like the most piss poor kick that I've ever seen. In
Right.
fact, I think my 3-year-old
Yeah,
kicks the ball harder than that little
Yeah.
que le hizo el güey. Like, no
And,
mames.
and I think Chivas Directiva can appeal, at least to have either the card revoked or to have James also, uh, you know, get damn. With this one, I don't know if they can still suspend you or if they could still alter like a card after the match.
I don't know, man. That just seems like a bitch move. Like, yo, my dude got hit, he hit someone, and now I want you to go punish both of them equally? Come on, man.
No, well,
No
because
seas puto.
no, it's you can have like some ref like fuck up to this have this amount of fuck up.
Pero
Like I
también,
know
hold on,
refs
hold on,
have
hold on.
gotten suspended.
I know you didn't watch the match, but why did he get shoved? Because he took the ball, hit it behind his back, and then threw it away.
Mm.
Like, este güey
Yeah,
García, tu españolcito, andaba de picudo también, güey. And they checked him.
Yeah, he
That's all that
checked him, but, I
happened.
mean,
If furthermore, I have a bone to pick with the Chivas players themselves. They almost cripple your head coach, and none of you threw a single putazo. Not even your bench players that aren't going to see any playtime.
right, that would have been obvious. He would have ran in, and then he would
But
have gotten
all these
brownie points.
look, it comes back to the man in charge, Oscar Mejia Garcia. He is the referee. He made some really terrible decisions, and the game ended up being about him. I remember early in my Liga MX days, watching. There was a referee on the broadcast that said, "Hey, like the best referees are the best matches that are officiated. I can't even say the word. Is when the referee is not part of the conversation. Like you don't even notice the ref in the match."
Yeah.
But this dude is super sus. Again, 11 yellows and 1 red card in 2 matches. That's way too many. The other thing I wanted to bring up, and I don't know if Ricardo, Rifado has his mic on. We have conceded 6 goals in 4 matches, which is alarming. I am going to say that our defense is definitely our weakest link, and we are definitely missing Chiquete Orozco. Rifado, are you with us?
Yes, sir. You summoned me. What's happening?
Welcome. How'd you see the match?
Yeah, man. I did see the match, and you know what? Like, it's a new team. Like, I feel like they don't know where they're at. Like, they haven't quite bought into Oscar's new style. At times, we feel like we don't have penetration, but like this whole match, we were looking good. It was a good match. Camberos, his maternal last name is Figueroa. I don't know. I always see that, so I always tend to call him that. But he looks so good. But yeah, our defense is whack, and I don't know why he's not playing Rey Mejia as well as what's the other guy's name? I think it's Martinez. We have two 22-year-olds on the bench, and then I know like circumstances dictate that we play Castillo on the right because Mozo is not around. So like we need a but like we should have bought a right back, another right back, because I'm not liking who we have there. And but Castillo or Rey Mejia or the other young guy, like they need to be playing because Sepulveda and this other guy
Yeah.
Portales, they're not it. And like you said, man, we've been conceding a lot. So something needs to be done about that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Tiva. He's, been exposed for a while now. And I think on that second goal, I don't know who to point the blame at, but, it was terrible marking. And, Leon ended up being the decisive goal in the match, unfortunately.
I'm pretty sure it was Tiba who that was his marker, and he gave him too much space.
Yep.
Like this guy, he's got good like intangibles. He's strong. He's pretty quick, but he doesn't have like the intellect to be like a top
No.
player in Liga MX, which is unfortunate because he's from the cantera. But I think we need to move past him.
Did you just call him stupid?
He's a
I don't
brute.
think he can read the game. Like you got people like Maldini, who was like so slow at the end of his career, and like if you ever hear Maldini talk, he says that if I have to make a tackle, I've already made a mistake. So like it's about reading the game and
Damn.
like snuffing out things before they're even like born. These opportunities, snuffing them out. And this guy, he's always on the back foot. He's always trying to play catch up, and that's like because of like his ineptitude in like the tactical sense. And so I've been fed up with him. I honestly I'd have preferred Briseño. I really would. He's
Wow.
another dummy.
Yeah,
but
he's gone.
But,
He's at the Luca.
yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, look, I know it's only 4 matches in, but if I was to assess Chivas after 4 matches, I'm not happy. I'm not impressed, and let's just chop this one up, man. This is this is not gonna be our season. They might get into the play-in, but at the trajectory that they're going, man, it's not looking good. And we played Santos.
But Jaime, get into the play-in is a good season for Chivas.
This guy isn't. They're not winning the league, bro. They're not even gonna get to the final.
No, I could have told you that. I could have told you that. You could have brought Bielsa. They're still not winning it.
Look, man, we lost to Necaxa. We lost to Necaxa. We tied at home against Tigres, and today's game against Leon. I mean, this team ain't it,
It's
bro.
pretty close. No, yeah, but it's not a team that's getting their cheeks clapped. It's a team that's putting up fights.
Hey, 6 goals in 4 games. That's not good. And I think the biggest concern is, we're not doing great defensively, and then offensively we're not scoring goals.
Well, it's Pulido still out, huh? They brought in
Yeah,
he's still injured.
We brought in we keep buying these parts, savage titles,
Defective. Yeah, Chivas make for them fire sales from the hospital. Players that are like injured and in crutches.
Real quick, here locally, maybe this is a national brand, but I grew up listening to these ads on the radio called Pick and Pull, and it was like this junkyard, and they had really good catchy ads like Pick and Pull. It'd be on TV, bro. That's what fucking Chivas are doing with these signings, bro. They got Pick and Pull, Chicharito, Pick and Pull, fucking Pulido. These guys are damaged goods, bro.
That is, remember Jaime, we saw that video of the yellow wagon or the family. That thing kept breaking down every 2 miles. They're like, it was supposed to be 4 hours, turned into like a 16-hour drive. But hey, dude, they made it. They made it, and that's gonna be Chivas though. It might take 10 years, but they eventually make it.
You're crying. Why are you being so disingenuous, man? America was full of injuries last year.
Well, Chivas also has a lot of injuries. Like Cade Cowell isn't starting. I think he's got a muscle injury.
One guy. America had almost all of their big hitters.
Chicha's not at full speed. Pulido hasn't debuted yet. We got some bang up injuries too.
Hormiga still hasn't,
none of those guys would even start
for
America.
Starter last year.
No, you said none of them would start for it. Wow.
Not one. Name one.
That's crazy. I think Cade would be a starter.
I think Piojo would break in.
What position does the cracker play?
He's a winger.
Which side?
Richie, you would have probably said the
Right.
same
No,
thing of
hey,
the
you,
Chivas players your
I'm putting
team
it out
currently
there.
has.
Who's that guy sitting on America?
What would he be taking up
Also,
Sendejas' spot?
Romo would start for you guys.
He's
Come
taking up
on.
Sendeja's spot, the guy that's has like 4 assists and a
Hey,
bunch, the most. Yes,
answer me
He's
this,
on fire.
Ricardo. If
so nobody then.
if Sendejas is so good,
I see how you're. I like how you're ignoring my question, Jaime.
no,
You
if
just
he's
threw something out there and you just ignored what I said.
no, I'm just saying if he's so good, is he getting capped by the national team? Because neither him or Kate are.
That's a different argument. I said America. He doesn't start for America, which he doesn't.
So I think he could start in the 10 position. Like, who did you guys start today? Chiquito? I would say
He's better.
Piojo
Are you
clears Chiquito.
serious?
What? Chiquito's like a world beater again?
When so playing for coming from see, this is what I was talking about in the last podcast. You guys sign a bunch of bums, and just because they play for Chivas, suddenly there's some fucking superstars. That guy's coming from playing in the MLS. He's a nobody.
Who?
He was-
Piojo?
Well, are we talking about the same guy? We're talking about the cracker, right?
Cade.
No, I'm talking about Piojo. I'm talking about Piojo
I'm
on
responding
the right.
to Jaime,
Yeah, he
and
wouldn't
that
beat out
bum doesn't
Zendejas
say
right
anyone in
now,
America
but you could play
either.
him as a 10.
That bum doesn't
And-
say anyone in America either.
I mean, who are you talking about? You got Diego Valdez playing with the U23. You got Chiquito starting, who had an awful tournament last tournament. Like, I think Piojo
See,
would definitely be
you
in
again, revisionist history. You're just going off what happened last season. As a
Yeah,
whole,
and-
that guy's a freaking bum.
Chiquito hasn't impressed me, and he's your starting 10 today.
Also, but when he was
Um,
playing with Pachuca, when he won a CONCACAF, he
like a
was
year ago.
he was fucking
A year ago, Valdez was
exactly
the
my
best player in
point.
the league.
You're
Now he's
living
playing with the U23s.
you live in bro. Your team just got porked by old Leon. Like, what are you talking about? Your team sucks. None of your
All right,
players.
That's
Not
what I'm
one-
saying.
Not for
That's what I'm
not
saying. Chop
one
up,
of your
dude.
players starts for America.
Romo was
Not
Chalk,
one.
chalk
for
up this
America.
season for Chivas, bro. They're not winning shit, man. And aren't they gonna have? What are they participating in this year? Are
I
they?
don't know, Leagues Cup.
Are they in the CONCACAF? They're in the CONCACAF, right?
Should they even be there?
I think they're in the CONCACAF. I could be wrong. I could be.
Let them run into daddy again. Let's see what happens. Just like last season. Let them, and then Riff Raff is gonna say, "Oh, the Televisa, the Azcárraga, and the constellations, and God did something." That's what he's gonna say.
No comas tanto
guy-
chile,
this guy-
pa.
Riff Raff is very whiny today. I don't know what happened. Maybe he was expecting a Chivas win, but he's being very chaotic tonight.
I think at minimum this game should have ended in a draw, but it doesn't go that way for Chivas. And this trajectory is not looking good. This is like Nvidia's stock on Monday, man. It fucking tanked. We got Querétaro tune-up match on Saturday, but I don't really want to talk about Chivas right now. We have a much pressing issue with Cruz Azul, bro. No call, no show. Fucking goes to Portugal. Anselmi, bro. You gotta explain this one to me, Abdias. What the fuck happened?
Oh, honestly, guys, we should have waited one day. Fuck one day, bro. Like 12 hours to have done the podcast last week. Because holy fuck, did the world just go upside down on Wednesday afternoon? And yes, so the storyline here is that Argentines just cannot be trusted. All right? They're mercenaries. They come here for the money. They don't give a shit about the club, and they'll sell you out at the first chance that they get.
Pero soy hincha del Cruz Azul.
Pues mira, güey, en el 2023 se convirtió hincha del Independiente del Valle. Oílo.
I think
Espérate, güey,
I
¿para
don't
quién es
know.
esa? ¿Para mí o para los
that's for you.
Chivas?
That's for you, bro.
Honestly,
I think.
both of you, but you're the topic tonight, Abigail. Porque quedaste como pendejo. You were meat riding, glazing, doing the bunny hop on his meat all last season, and you got your bitch took. That's what happened.
Funny.
You got
You
your
know,
coach took. Y quedaste como
this,
pendejo.
All right. I think the biggest concern isn't that Porto like approached him. That's totally normal. I think the biggest concern is how fucking quickly that dude did, bro.
Well, bro, it hasn't even been quickly. So hold on. Before we get into where we are now, let's look back at where we were. This motherfucker started dealing with Porto in November. All right, at the very start of the Liguilla is when he started having dealings with them. Then what happens is Liguilla ends, or we get bounced out. This motherfucker doesn't do an off season with the team. 3 months, the guys were stopped. There's reports right now that several players had to either work out with their own personal trainers in order to stay in shape, or they had to go to public parks and train under those conditions because Cruz Azul wasn't holding
that's not
anything at La Noria.
that's not your directiva though, man. That's not on the coach. That's why you have a director deportivo and
Porque les decidió dar descanso.
why do you think they fired Turco? He was fucking off and doing Turco from America. Peláez will come and where's training? Oh, we took the day off. And Peláez will be like, how the fuck we are? We just lost a match. How are you taking a day off? And ultimately, that's why even though he won, he fired him. And I think if that dude was not even handing in like his schedule for preseason and all that, that falls right on the directiva of no one being in charge of that, of overlooking that and being on top of what Anselmi is doing.
Well, because the plan was, hold on. The plan was you give them a break, you put them back into action because we're going to be competing Conca Champions. We're going to be competing all of these other ones. So therefore, let's give them a break. But in reality, it was let's let this motherfucker cut deals behind our backs and then fuck everyone over. The worst part is, a ver, ¿qué?
Well, that's not, but like, give them a break. I mean, America pretty much showed how you do that break shit and how they still train, but they had the youth and all that, and they used their whole squad. And I know Cruz Azul has just as deep enough squad to have done something very similar.
What did America's preseason look like?
Well, I don't know. I don't follow America, but I'm pretty sure they were training and at least doing shit behind closed doors. I mean, they don't have to exactly go out and play amistosos or.
So we're talking about hypotheticals right now. In this war of hypotheticals, I'm bringing you facts. They didn't do any training.
Facts real quick, Abdias. So, we have the debacle with Huescas. We have Billy Alvarez going to jail. We have Alonso, who's being investigated by his own club, and they might take legal action against him. And now we have Anselmi leaving to Porto. And so, the common denominator is the directiva at Cruz Azul, right? And they dropped the ball in all of these instances. I would compare it to giving a Ferrari to a 16-year-old, not even 15-year-old with a permit.
It ain't a Ferrari, bro. That shit's a fucking Fiat.
I look at their squad and they have one of the best squads in the league. But the way they're managing it is god awful. And this leads me to believe that Anselmi did nothing wrong. I mean, in the legal aspects, in the contractual aspect, he did nothing wrong in leaving to Porto. And then he stated himself that he wanted to give a press conference.
And they didn't let him.
Directiva denied him that opportunity. And so he had to leave, through the back door because they wouldn't let him explain himself.
That's a load of bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who to
no
believe.
One's shutting that guy's mouth. He could have said something when he was being. That's a load of bullshit.
He did say something
when he was at the airport. He didn't say shit when he was at the airport.
This is the problem with Mexican fans and the Mexican media. You guys are so conditioned. You guys are just so used to the same bullshit that anything that makes sense is just it sounds outrageous to you. No one's forcing that guy to shut his mouth. At any point, he could have said something.
Oh, he said something. I got
Well,
the
you don't know.
recording
He
right
did.
here. I got the recording
did
right here.
say
Let me
something.
play it real
Yeah,
quick.
when he was in Porto, but not in Mexico.
para toda la gente independiente del Valle, para todos sus hinchas, para todos aquellos que me escribieron durante este tiempo y que siempre estuvieron en cada cancha, en Loja, en Cuenca, en Gualaceo, viajando en bus. Cada vez somos más y de a poquito vamos escribiendo esa hermosa historia que tenemos y que sepan que yo, al igual que ustedes, soy hincha de Independiente del Valle.
Oh wait, my bad. That was what he said at Del Valle, but it's basically replace Del Valle with Cruz Azul. It's the same fucking message.
Bro,
It
we
was.
won't know, man. There's also the possibility of being told not to say anything
Ahora,
because there
espérate,
will be
güey.
the lawsuit from Cruz Azul.
Exactly. And for the record, Rifado came in here saying that Alonso's being investigated. He has been cleared of all wrongdoing by Cruz Azul. That investigation ended the same day that it opened up. That they were saying that he was under investigation. So there's nothing there. If anything, right now the report is that Porto had come to an agreement, right? That everything was okay. Well, if that's the case, where's the proof? Where's the paperwork? Why aren't you showing these things? And then, oh no. No. It wasn't that. It's just the fact that we're arguing about money because in his release clause, there's a stipulation that if he goes to a grade A league or a grade A club, you only have to pay 3 mil. But anything below that, you would have to pay 5 mil. Well, Porto's saying that they are a grade A club, to which Cruz Azul is saying, no, you're not. You're not EPL. You're not the Italian league. You're not even La Liga at some of the best ones in there. You are a second tier league and you're a second tier club. So
Wow.
that's where the money dispute comes from. So therefore, hold on. So you had an agreement, but then the money's doing funny things. Then also supposedly, and it's in writing, what you originally tried to pay us with 2 friendly matches, one held in Mexico, the second one held in the US, where all of the proceeds of both matches would go to Mexico to offset the money. That was the second offer that came in from Porto. So why are you making funny moves when this thing was supposedly all tied up?
So pretty much you got your bitch took.
We'll see what the courts say. Because my bitch was doing
And
funny things.
I'm gonna have to correct you there because I seen that Leon de Calda guy, that guy that's the Cruz Azul inform in a main reporter on ESPN. That was just media throwing that shit out there about Clase A or Grande team or whatever when they were arguing about if Porto is a big Grande team or whatever. He put that to bed. He said it was either Spain. The money was either different if he went to Spain, stayed in Mexico, or a national team. And Porto isn't Spain, so they have to pay. He said they have to pay 5 million, and no one's confirmed if anyone's paid that money.
Señor, ¿te das cuenta que you only watch ESPN stuff?
Well, isn't he the main reporter or no?
On ESPN, La Joya, he has been reporting the same thing. Claro Sports has been reporting the same thing.
Those guys are fake news. That guy's always been at.
No, güey, que se la mamas a tu ídolo de Álvaro
He's
Morales
always
es
been
otra
at Cruz
cosa.
Azul. That's why you got your bitch tuck because you're an idiot and you're fan you have a whore
FIFA
fan base.
stipulates that if you are gonna contend something, the player and the coach are innocent until proven guilty, right? So he can go and coach while this is fought out, legally. And then, like the repercussions could be that he pays 3 million or I mean that Porto pays 3 million or 5. And so like, I
Or
think
Anselmi
Porto's gonna
Where'd
be
you hear
fine
that
either
from?
way.
That's
And I think
absolutely
Anselmi's
false.
gonna be fine either way.
No,
But, like-
Anselmi
So
can
you're saying
get
so you're
Anselmi
saying
can
he
get
can be coach
suspended.
for Cruz Azul and FIFA doesn't allow that.
No,
They have to-
he's never coming back to to Cruz Azul.
I know
But,
that,
like-
but if they don't, technically, if they don't receive the money, he's still their coach.
See, the
There,
thing
there is
is like
there is
I
no
think I think it's
negotiating,
about receiving 3 or 5 million,
and they're
and
saying
so
they
like
haven't
that's what's going
received
to
it.
be fought out in the courts.
But as of right now, he's in breach of contract, and if si dirige otro partido, just like he just did, he is now inflicting a conflict of interest and a breach of
Yeah.
contract, which under FIFA law, like their own stipulations, can yield I can't remember, but it's at least like 2 to 3 years of inactivity.
Yeah.
So this whole thing is a fucking mess from top to bottom, right? It's
Yeah.
it's been fucking amazing because it keeps developing moment by moment. Now the other thing, tu acá, wait, Ricardo, who are you glazing over here from ESPN? The same dumbass who said that Bogus wasn't gonna get to Cruz Azul, and literally that night, Bogus flew to Cruz Azul and signed
There
the
is a
paperwork.
one guy that confirmed that he was going the whole way. Everyone was saying that guy was either going to come or he wasn't since your bitch got took, since your coach got.
Mira cómo cambia la pinche historia,
Well,
¿verdad,
how
güey?
did that change, idiot? I kept saying the same thing. You're
No,
just
que el
bringing
vato
in
que
you're
dice
just
toda la
bringing in a
verdad,
different
¿verdad?
subject
El
porque
vato que
quedaste
dice
como
toda la
pendejo.
verdad, que dice
You're bringing in a
todo, que es
different
el mero
subject
mero.
porque
He's being
quedaste como
proven
pendejo.
inconsistent and a
You got your
liar.
bitch took.
But yet here you
Quedaste
are
como
fighting his
pendejo, like we all
arguments.
know you are. Quedaste
No,
como
güey.
pendejo.
No hay pedo. Yo nomás estoy diciendo la verdad. I'm not even
Yeah, quedaste
assuming,
como
nor am I
pendejo. We all know
taking
that.
somebody's words for
We
the
all
truth.
know that. Quedaste como pendejo.
I'm collaborating everybody else's.
Yeah.
So
Well, going back to the contract, I'm with you on that, Abdias. I think that if he starts coaching, well, he shouldn't even be allowed to coach until his contract has been properly terminated with Cruz Azul. Um, and I wonder if that's some of the reasons why they were saying how Porto didn't pick him up from the airport in Spain because they were supposed to. Supposedly, some of the reporters were saying they always send like someone to pick you up and then take you to the next destination, and he was there taking his own taxi. Um, so I wonder if that has anything to do with that, and Porto's just trying to do. They went to the same Cruz Azul masterclass negotiating with kind of what was going on with Chivas and Cruz Azul, just extending it to see if what kind of deal they could pull out instead of just paying the money.
So let me just play the devil's advocate for Anselmi. All right, you fall on your face, right, with your squad that was super hot. You don't have a stadium to play in. The guy who was the main dude is in jail. The back office guy was under investigation for corruption, and you feel as if you've taken this squad as far as it's gonna go. Maybe the Cruz Azuliada is too much for him. He needs something else, and maybe Mexico, it wasn't to his liking. Maybe he had some personal issues as well, and then in comes this opportunity of a lifetime to coach in Europe. You're gonna take it. I would.
And he's going to
So, I
take
mean-
those AC units with him.
yes. All right. Now hold on. Let me play the advocate of someone with a backbone, a spine, and some fucking morals. If
Jardine?
that's the case and that's how you feel, then why did you have a club spend 75 mil in the offseason? Why did you go meet with players and convince them to come over to your team? Why did you release players from their contracts and sell them off to other teams? Players that we believed were a key part of the team. Why did you do those things if you already thought you had taken this team to its greatest limit? Why did you do that when you were already dealing with another club from 3 months back, knowing that you were going to leave?
So it's very rare for a coach to have that much sway and
Yeah.
have all these picks. It's like a
true.
whole process. Like the
In
staff,
Mexico.
the office is gonna take care of that. So like I doubt he was fully behind all these refuerzos and sell and players sold like that. That usually never happens.
In Mexico, riffraff. That happens in Europe, but in Mexico, that is uncommon.
That's the reason why in Mexico, every 6 months, a team reinvents itself. You know why? Because Mexico fires the coach every 6 weeks.
Well,
Temporary
yeah, it depends the
employer.
club though. It depends the club because Chivas been, despite the coaches, they've been consistent with the players they're bringing in,
Because you're
and the
broke.
coaches. No, but they're still not going after what the coaches want because of that same reason. If the
Which one?
coaches
Because you're
leave or
broke?
whatever,
Because you can't afford
no,
the players that coaches want. So you
Bro,
keep the
no.
players
you had
that
to
you
get
have in your
Chiquete on
I
a
don't
cantera
think
fucking
I don't
playing.
payment
think they're
plan. What are you
broke.
talking
I just
about? Don't talk about broke.
Senor, we
I don't,
brought,
I don't,
yeah, because we bought fucking Bogus. And then you know who else we bought?
You guys,
We bought fucking Luca
you
from
guys,
under you.
you guys
Like,
wanted him
what do you
on the
mean? Why the fuck
layaway
am I gonna
plan,
pay a
bro. Stop
brokey?
it.
they did,
Yeah,
man. They had to
I
go.
hate seeing both my sons fight, man. Just take it easy. Chill.
Mira, güey, a la señora que vende quecas, sé que si le pago con $1, me va a rendir más que si le doy 20 pesos. It's that
Lame
simple.
ass joke.
No, it's
No,
not even
man,
a joke. It's just a
just
true
not broke.
Just
Come on.
representation of what
just
things are
keep
when you're
this in
dealing with
mind.
poor people.
Keep this in mind. That guy Hector Huerta, uh, Abigail just said 70 million, but Hector Huerta and someone else I seen online were saying that on top of the 7 million, teams taking certain expenses like taxes and other miscellaneous things. So Cruz Azul all of the last tournament and this tournament, making it a year, spent. He said that they spent $100 million. That's in all these people that these pundits, I mean, that are justifying him, just pretty much tricking Cruz Azul and making them look stupid. Yeah, son pendejos. We know that already. Like they have they're the most corrupt club in Liga MX. No matter what anyone says, look, their owners is just got arrested by the FBI.
Yeah.
They fixed matches. The guy's getting arrested for fixing matches. Their sporting director, when he was a player, he faked a heart attack just to go back to Uruguay, and now he's back in Mexico stealing money from them. Those are the type of pendejos that they are. But besides that, in regards to the 100 million, the Argentine and people that like a lot of reporters, the Argentine reporters in Mexico, like they take that como like, oh, it's common. Look in Europe. Look, it always stuff like that always happens in Europe. That's in Europe. In Mexico, these teams are owned by people. They're spending their money. You get what I'm saying? Like this isn't common for teams to spend this amount of money. Yeah, yeah. They just take it as nothing, and it's baffling to me because they wouldn't do that in Argentina. They wouldn't make a team spend 100 million or whatever it was, and then bounce to another team.
The thing is, Cruz Azul isn't owned by people, it's owned by La Cooperativa. So everyone knows that those pockets are stupid fucking deep. That's why they spend that amount of money all the time. Why do you think
Not
Billy
all the
is going to
time.
jail for that money
They've
laundering?
never spent that amount in the full. Hector Huerta said that he's been reporting for 40 something years in Mexico. There's never been a team in Mexico that spends that amount of money in 1 year. That guy tricked you guys, and not tricked as in bamboozle. Tricked as in used you, like a whore uses a man, or how you got used when you met your girlfriend. You know what I'm saying?
Ay, chiquito. But you know what? I will say yes. And you know why? Because you have to look at it in the big spectrum, right? So, what was happening? Under what circumstances did he come into? Remember, Victor Valdez is still fairly new to the Directiva de Cruz Azul. He hasn't been at the helm for a long time because Billy was there. Victor Valdez has tops 3 years there. he invested in the I guess the rejuvenation of Cruz Azul heavy. There was heavy investment because Cruz Azul's fans had been asking for it for a long time. Of why do we keep doing these half-ass signings that suck dick and yet leave us at a worse off position that we were before? Much more, why are we emptying out our pockets for these short contracts of 6 months? Un torneo. What's happening here? So therefore, he said, you know what? No hay pedo. Remember how they fired Tuca? For about over half of the tournament, we didn't bring in a coach because they said we're laying the groundwork for something bigger. They brought in Anselmi, they brought in the director deportivo, empezaron a soltar un chingos de feria, and guess what? One final, one quarterfinal, y luego esto. So you have to keep in mind the circumstances that were taking place around the club as to why they invested so much money into it.
Yeah. All I'm gonna say
Hay un poco de todo, chavos.
on that topic with Anselmi, regardless of who's guilty or look, at the end of the day, it's quite obvious that these Argentine coaches have a tendency, and I think we should be cautious of booking them, in Liga MX. Those are not the type of coaches that we want in Liga MX. The ones that are going to use this as a fucking stepping stone and dip the second they get a wink from any team. And unfortunately, I have to bring up America here because look at what Jardinet's done. I mean, that dude's won 3 in a row. He should be sitting on offers, but he's committed to his team, and I respect that.
That was my one of my questions earlier. That I was thinking if after he won the league, did America sit down with him and then just or if he had a clause and it just like boosted his contract, because there was that talk. I don't know if it was rumor, the Brazilian club, with Libertadores and everything, all nice things being presented, and I thought, oh damn, he probably will leave. He won it all, but he stayed. So I wonder how that was, like if they improved this contract or what they did there, because you do want to hold on to a coach like that for as long as possible. With Cruz Azul, damn, I was just thinking this was going to be Anselmi talk. All I'm hearing is all of this madre in the boardroom, which is pretty sad because I would think if it was like, properly run, they would be more successful. They would have had at least another 2 championships in the rack. But I guess the corruption from Billy, it just runs deep, man. It's he, there's probably a lot of corrupt people still within the club that do things to benefit themselves. Pretty similar to what's happening in Chivas many years with a lot of when they had the directiva and I mean socios, when they were socios and the club never made money, and it's like there was a lot of shit going on. Even when they had 10 years to restructure everything, because the Deportiva, what was it called? Do whatever it was called, but still, they had like 10 years, and at the end of it was almost at the end of those 10 years, at the 9 years mark, they still didn't have money. That's when they had to sell, and that's when Vergara comes in and buys it on the cheap. Still bought it on the cheap, man. They just, how bad that shit was being run. Now here's Cruz Azul, man, almost like one up in Chivas on the fuckery back there. So can't wait for that Netflix special.
Hey,
Yeah, I think
this guy's a fucking quitter, right? But what's the difference?
Which one? Wait, who's the quitter?
He's a fucking quitter.
I know. No, I'm with my rib right here.
He ran into America those two tournaments, and he quit like a bitch, and he left to Europe. That's what happened. But let's not throw stones in glass houses.
This guy
Besides
fell
the
upwards.
money, what's the difference between what these guys are doing and what Chivas did with that dude Hierro and Gago? What's the difference
How was a big difference? Because I
besides the
mean,
money?
well, I mean,
Both,
it's just
all
the
of
way.
those
It's just
motherfuckers
the way
quit.
that you leave.
All of them quit, and you guys were praising them.
No, I mean, Hierro did his thing. I mean, he did a good job.
Well, what do you
You don't
do?
want to force people to stay in your club. He got the team to a final.
Oh,
What do you mean?
so
He brought,
Anselmi doubled that guy's work then,
but
because he
that's
got
good
to a
then.
final and right?
Well, that's good. That's what you bring them for, to bring results. I mean, you can't force people to stay.
No, I'm
And
not
when
saying
they come
they
in,
stay, but
they
those
do a
fuckers
good
quit,
job.
and you guys were praising them, and you're throwing
I
shit
don't,
at the Chemos for having for being in the same situation.
no. I was talking about like what has in the past, not like currently. It's a lot of this madre, and I think it's not so much that he left; it's how he left. You know, with all that secrecy and all that. Same with
I'm not
Gago.
throwing shit at the Chemos because I'm not ready to write them off. Like this guy Vicente, what's his name? Vicente Sanchez from
Vicente
Uruguay.
Sanchez.
He might be really good. You know, he
You don't know who Vicente Sanchez is?
Yeah, the Toluca. He was the striker that was in Toluca.
See, I was trying to catch Riffraff because how
I
old
do
are you,
know
Riffraff?
him. I know him as an Uruguayan interim coach for Cruz Azul, who's
Oh,
stepping
see,
in
He's the
during this
interim.
see,
tumultuous time.
because
Aren't they
I'm caught
getting
on a Riffraff. This guy's like he's a Latinx. What are these young people called? Generation X
millennial?
or millennials? That's what he is. Because I caught him in the last podcast. He couldn't pronounce Batistuta, and I was like, that stayed with me. This dude, he's an MLS watcher.
All
Yeah.
right. Anyways, but the point I'm trying to make is that this guy could be good, or they could get what's it called?
That dude was in Colombia, right?
Efrain. Yeah, the guy,
Yeah.
the Mexican guy at Colombia, right? He's been rumored to come in. They have a really strong squad.
I think that
So
will be
like,
a nice pick,
I'm not ready to
bro.
write off Cruz Azul just because Anselmi left. He laid down a great foundation, and someone can come in and take them, across the finish line.
Bro, I think if they get Efrain and he could work his magic like he did over there. No one's gonna be talking about a Selmy, dude.
Exactly.
I hate to be that guy, but I'm gonna be that guy. I rub people the wrong way, and I understand why. Because I'm like Trump. I say the truth, right? But what the fuck? Like, do you guys watch? You know about the Colombian League, right?
A little bit.
Correct.
What?
Can you name me the top teams in Colombia?
Yeah, Medellin.
Medellin,
Nacional,
Atlético Nacional, correct? Who else?
America.
América de Cali.
Cali.
That's like an exporting team, dude. Atlético Nacional, and that's where Efrain came from, right? Can you name me another big team in Colombia? I can name one. That junior
I'm not
team,
Colombian.
right? No, me either.
Was
I'm not
Anselmi's
Colombian
last
either.
team
Well, I'm trying to
Del
make a
Valle?
point to expose you guys to expose especially your limited soccer knowledge, Riffraff, because you're a
I
Generation
know,
X
mames.
MLS watcher. In
Wait.
Colombia,
All right. First of all,
No,
I'm gonna call you out on your bullshit, dude.
there's only
You
two
love this,
teams.
dude. Don't lie
There's
to us and
only
say
two
you
teams
don't
in
wanna be that
Colombia.
guy. This shit's
Atlético
making you
Nacional
randy, bro.
and Junior, right? Those are the only teams in Colombia that actually invest in their teams. Every other team is an ex. Anytime these guys see a big black guy that can run fast, they send them somewhere else. Efrain was just coaching a team that was already prepared, that was already had its pieces in place.
That's a Cruz Azul, bro.
Correct, but I'm just saying we don't know what this guy can do. He was
He
coaching in
won,
the
bro. He
exporting
won.
league.
You know what he can
Bro,
do. No mames
he,
way.
How
he
many
came
games
into
you
the
watch?
hot seat.
What's his
Bro, he came
formation
into
in
the hot
Atlético
seat.
Nacional? All right, now
Nobody wanted his
you
ass
guys are
right there.
just talking bullshit. What was
No,
his
man. Come
formation
on.
in Atlético Nacional?
Wait,
What's his football scheme?
what does
If you
that
guys
got to
know
do
so
if
much.
he could do good? If he could do good or not, man? It's
No,
not
I
like
understand what you're
you
saying, bro. A
could.
lot like Riff Raff and Abigail Diaz, they're talking like they know what this guy, like his formation. What these guys didn't even watch a single one of his fucking games. They're just talking out of their ass. They're just seeing someone
You can watch
uploading
those
a
games,
video.
right? You need
They're
those
uploading.
parabólicas
No,
that
hey, well,
connect to the space station, right?
hey, boy, correct.
¿De
If
qué
I'm
estás
lying,
hablando,
you
güey?
stop me
VIX has
whenever
the
I'm
direct
lying.
feed. VIX has the broadcasting right to the Colombia National League. What are you talking about?
Why? Well, how many games did you see him coach?
Vi sus dos finales.
Who did he play against?
Neta, güey, I wasn't paying attention. It was in the background.
Cállate el puto cico. You're a fucking moron, dude. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're just talking out of your. You just proved my point. You guys are talking about a guy. You don't know what the hell he did in Colombia. You just seen the videos of him raising the trophy and celebrating with the big black guys. That's all you guys. Come on, man. You guys are really exposing yourselves right now. Come on.
It's a bit harsh there, Richie. No,
No. I think you're assuming a lot in the sense because I never stated that I'm an avid Colombia watcher, but I do know this guy won the doblete. So you don't go to a foreign country and that you don't know a whole lot of, like Efrain did, and then off the bat win the doblete in the league.
That guy
right?
Mora, that coach for Atlas,
That
won
speaks
5
to the
straight
quality
titles
of
in
this
Malaysia.
person. And,
So
and
he
that's
kind
what
of
I'm
did what you're
referencing
talking
when I'm
about.
stating this
no
guy
mames,
could
way
be
Malaysia,
good.
way.
Hey, he said a foreign country.
Yeah, but come on,
It is a
man.
foreign country for Efrain because is he Colombian or is he Mexican?
So now you're testing my G. Come on, Riff Raff, you're getting very emotional.
Let's go into this
No,
one. You don't go into a
Malaysia's like that
football
Wonder Years
country.
meme
guys,
where
you don't
the
know
kid
his
kicks the
you don't
ball
know
straight
what
and
you don't know
everybody's
what
no.
you don't know his
I know
formation. You don't
love
know
to work with
who he
academics.
played
You
against.
like to
Oh,
But he's a
mames,
good
your
coach,
point,
according
my
to you.
points.
Wait, no
Go
one
ahead,
said he
Tom.
was a
your
good
argument,
coach, man.
but it's fallacious, Ricardo. And I've told you this already. You know, I never stated that I was, some avid
Yeah.
Columbia League watcher, but I do know this guy has success, and he found it outside of his comfort zone, and that speaks to the quality of him as a coach. And I'm not saying that if he was to come, it would guarantee success. All I said is that I'm not ready to write off Cruz
Yeah.
Azul.
No, I just want to add a bit to this, and Rich, I think you're making this one mistake here because in Liga MX, we're quick to give more credit to the foreigner that does what Efrain did.
And we're also quick
was in Venezuela, bro.
We're also quick
Carmon
to
was in
meet
Venezuela, and he comes into Liga MX, and it's all high praise. Here's a Mexican dude who did it in hostile environment where, and I get it because they're they don't have, there's not much to write home about when it comes to Mexican coaches, So I see it. I could see that happening.
That's all I'm saying. But you guys took it somewhere else. All I'm saying is this guy, he coached in Colombia where there's only 2 teams that invest in their teams.
But doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter. But that's like saying that just because you land in Barca, that you're supposed to win it all. And it's not. There's been a lot of coaches that get there and they have a shit season or don't do anything and leave. So it's not guaranteed. You still have to, still have to get a lot of
win over. Liga MX. There's only really like 4 teams that invest in their club consistently.
Yeah, but this guy's saying because it was one of the bigger teams. But I'm saying like you could arrive to a big team and not do shit.
Es lo que digo, güey. Atlas won a fucking doblete. Like, that's like point in case itself.
That's right.
Like, no, güey, pero era un pinche equipo putero.
Yeah, and Anselmi came to Cruz Azul, and he got his shit pushed by America twice, right? Apples and oranges. We're talking about Efrain Juarez. You guys love to change the subject. All I'm saying is that he was in a nice situation in Colombia. That's all I'm saying. And if he goes to Cruz Azul, he'll be in a nice situation again. But keep in mind he's coming to Cruz Azul. What did we just all talk about?
Yeah, but tell me, bro, how did things go with Dan Ortiz under your helm? Because he had a set squad. He came in.
Solari,
ándale, Solari. That's your guy.
What did Tano? I'm not getting the correlation. What the hell did Tano and Solari win as coaches? before
you're
they got to
diminishing
America.
the merit
Exactly
of Juarez
nothing.
because
And,
he walked
then
into
why
a
compare
big
him
team.
to Juarez, who
But it's
won
not
to
guaranteed that you're going to
doblete with
win, even if you're at a big team. You know, Solari didn't win shit with Real Madrid. He didn't win shit with Club America. Two big teams, 0 for 2. And what I'm trying to say is that, like, you can't fall upwards. You're not gonna win a doblete and be a shit manager. And I'm not saying I'm some expert in Colombian soccer, because I'm not. But I'm saying that there's some merit to this guy. And if he comes to Cruz Azul, I'm not willing to write off Cruz Azul.
And he's been putting his work too.
Exaggerated that, and that's
It's
fine.
not like he just that shit dropped in. You know, he worked his way. He worked his way there, and he's been putting in the work.
And then the other thing is, you have to look at his resume. He was part of the city club organization. All right, like has one of the best resumes out there for him to take over a club.
Hey, real quick, want to go to the YouTube comments. We have Chuy Garcia says, "Saludos, cabrones. I thought this was a podcast about soccer. Instead, it's about who can call out the biggest pendejo in the room."
Bienvenido a la cantina.
Chewy, we could have done that with the YouTube comments as well. You would be my first pick.
Hey, hop on the Twitter Spaces and talk shit to us, Chewy. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, man, you guys got into some fuckery over here. Got a little personal. But man, I wanted to acknowledge the fact that we might be seeing history this season and seeing a 4-peat for America. And I think Rifaldo said in the chat, if that happens, he's gonna stop watching, and I might have to join him.
Hold on. Before we go too far, I had to take a small break because mi morrito se despertó because we're out here shouting too loud and doing these type of things. But earlier we were talking about the reason why you can't trust RGs, right? The fact they're mercenaries, the fact that they do all this. But most importantly, bro, son un montón de pinche rateros, güey. If they don't steal the AC units from your
Wow.
apartment, they're going to steal the computers from your office with the data on players. All right?
Isn't this the same guy that glazes Santi Jimenez?
Sir, now you're just being xenophobic because he's Mexican. Constitutionally Mexican. Probably more Mexican than your children are.
Okay. The guy was born in Argentina, jackass.
And where were your kids born? Where were they raised?
You know my dick size too?
No, güey, pero sé que estás pendejo.
Sounds like you do.
Hey,
Talking out of your ass, jackass.
we have other burning topics tonight. Let's talk about Santi Jimenez, who had some fucking, I don't know if he was on the same shit that Leaño was on, but he said that he will become Mexico's top goal scorer for the national team. Last time I checked, he has 4 registered goals. He's 23 years old. Chicharito at 22 already had 11 goals for the national team, 2 of them in the World Cup. What are your thoughts?
Whoa, senor. Who said national team? He just said de Mexico.
Well, that's even
No dijo en la selección.
That's even a
No
bigger
dijo
fucking
ninguna de
pipe
otra.
dream.
Ahora, si te queda el pinche calzado de que, it has to be the World Cup because everyone measures up to Chicha. Bueno, güey, ahí estás tú. Pero he just said el máximo goleador mexicano.
Well, I mean, typically when you say that, that means, you know, goals for the national team. And even if it's not, even if he's talking about his overall tally, bro, that guy's got a long way to go to match Hugo Sanchez and shit.
Yeah,
Dale,
I
güey.
thought he was talking out of his ass, but you know what? He's hot right now. I don't know if you guys saw, but he scored 2 beautiful goals, or 1 beautiful goal against Bayern Munich, and then he put away the penalty. You know, he's getting hot at the right time, and it looks like the AC Milan deal for around 40 million might go through. You know, I've heard that Feyenoord said no twice, and that AC Milan is coming in for that third. So if he goes to AC Milan, I'd be really happy. It's the move that I think he needs, and yeah, I hope it happens.
I
But
I heard Bayer Leverkusen might take him.
Yeah, another good option. You know, Xabi Alonso is a great coach.
I'd rather him go to fucking Bundesliga than the fucking Serie A, honestly.
No way, bro. You have to look at the whole package. I would much rather him going to AC Milan to get coached and trained under Zlatan because under
But I don't think
Feyenoord
he's a coach or trainer. He's just
No,
like a
he's in the
directivo.
back room.
He ain't doing
He's
shit,
something
bro.
else.
is the same thing that they said about Robin van Persie, and guess what? That's who's coaching him over there.
My only issue with AC Milan move is that Tammy Abraham, Morata, and this other guy. I think it's
Yeah,
like
dude. He ain't gonna get
Jovic
into
or
that
Jovic.
fucking starting lineup.
Those three guys, they're not scoring, and this is why they're so hot for him, because they need a goal scorer. But like three dudes are not scoring for AC Milan. That means the system's not working for the striker. And you have Leao and Pulisic scoring the goals off the wings. And so like he might not get a lot of service, or he might be asked to be a 9.5 like Raul Jimenez, and he might not thrive under that. But like I want him to go somewhere, and if it's AC Milan, that's great because I think he needs a new challenge. And so I hope he does leave, the Netherlands, and maybe he proves us wrong, but I don't see him being better than Chicha, and definitely not better than
Yeah.
Hugo.
Look, the one thing that I would say to counter argument the whole thing about national team goals and things like that is that let's not forget that there was a golden opportunity for him to go to the World Cup. And the excuse that we were given as to why he wasn't going is Santi has a lot of goals, but very few minutes. So instead, we took a guy who had a freshly cracked skull, had pubitis, and was a fucking cripple the whole time. Granted, he's made an amazing comeback, but let's not forget that we are close to 3 years removed from that stint happening.
What the fuck has that guy done in the time that's passed to make you think that idiot would have done something in the World Cup?
You mean being leading goal scorer
In a
in?
fisherman's, in
Yeah.
a bum ass league.
But he's still the leading goal
In the
scorer.
Yeah, it
bum
doesn't matter.
ass
He
He
was
just
league.
scored
hot.
two on
He
fucking
he
Bayern.
sure didn't light up the Copa
And
America
then
on fire like
let's
you
not
guys were
forget,
thinking.
he just
Did
came
he
off of a
even
muscular
score in the Copa
injury.
America?
I mean,
He didn't, but we had a lot of trouble creating anything.
Yeah, it's
under,
always someone.
Jimmy.
It's always someone else's fault, right?
The system does matter. There is context to it, but no, he didn't, like, no one prospered in the Copa America. Maybe the defense. We only had one goal scored against us, but we still got bounced out during the group stage. But the you know what? I lost my train of thought. But go on.
So,
No,
like I
I
said,
think
he hasn't done nothing to make this dirty Chemo think or say that he would have done something in the World Cup. He didn't do shit with the national team.
So we brought Muerto Mori, who didn't do shit.
That's true.
Like,
Yeah.
I would have much rather
Yeah,
had
yeah.
a
how
younger
how
guy.
many
That's what I was
minutes
gonna
did
say.
Muerto Mori play?
It doesn't matter.
You
He
guys
had
are
it in
making
the
it seem
base.
like he played 90 minutes.
Well, that's the thing, and then that's
I
the
think
falling
he
into
got
the
a
He would have been
Jutata
on the
thing
bench
where
if they took him anyway. He wasn't gonna do shit.
and
Let-
that's
let's
the
be
heart
no,
of the
but I thought
argument.
sabotage the
He
team.
wasn't gonna do a
If- if-
goddamn thing.
if they were
You
gonna
guys are
face
just still
Argentina,
crying over that. You're still
and I
crying
don't
over
think
that.
he
It's
wanted.
pathetic.
But this guy was coming on. He was on fire. Even if it's a fisherman league, he was still on fire. People would have said the same thing about Chicharo. Non-Mexican fans. He's in Liga MX. Chicharo was on fire, and he goes to the World Cup, and he fucking you build off of that momentum. You have that confidence, and it just builds up. And I think for him, even facing Argentina, I think he would have been even more inspired, more motivated.
We
Especially
don't
to
know
I
that.
mean, we faced Argentina
yes,
without a
bro.
striker.
I do know that he would.
Oh,
He
you
would have
guys
done
were
that.
touting Alexis Vega to do something in the World Cup, and he made
I
a
know. I
joke
never
out of
thought.
he
I
made a
never,
joke out of anyone who
we
believed in it.
never said that way.
No,
This
no,
is
no,
recorded. Richie,
Wait,
come on.
no. I'm
¿cuándo?
saying the people that didn't we in the last podcast didn't you mention that the pundits that everyone was saying this guy was
Yeah,
going to have a big World Cup?
yeah, they
That's
were.
what
They
I'm
were.
referring to.
But you say you. When you
Everyone
say you,
expected him.
it comes across as us.
No, I meant
No, but
them. No, don't be like riffraff. No te enojes. Don't get mad at everything I say.
no,
If I generalize, I apologize, but come on, it's
no, but well,
2025. Trump's in office. It's not Kamala time. Come on.
So just
No,
to defend
I just
Vega. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Juan.
oh, just really quick. I'm just going off of like what we see in football, what we've seen throughout the years, and that's been it's been like a consistency. A lot of times when you see players that are on fire that are doing really well, and you take them and they build off of that, and most often than not, they end up doing good. So I'm not saying exactly just because he would have played that he would have fucking scored a hat trick. But what I am saying is that he would have done. I think he would have poured his heart into it, and who knows what he would have done. But it I do feel it would have been better than taking strikers that weren't match fit. That's where that's like there's a lot of that criticism and for Tata and that whole belief that he purposely sabotaged the national team. I don't know, maybe we'll hear something down the line, but it does feel like that a lot of times, where like some of his choices are very questionable.
So just to like touch on that, Tata Martino, what I have to say about him is he's a one-trick pony. He's got this one system and he's going to stick to it. And his system was to play with a 9.5, someone who facilitates others, like Raul Jimenez. And so when he, basically almost died, he was up shit creek, and he couldn't find a good replacement. I think he had Henry, but like Mori and Raul, right? And so like he didn't have like a good he doesn't have any backup plan. He's a one trick pony, and then he relies on his wingers to score, right? And all our wingers were shit. Tecatito was injured and has never recovered really, and Chucky Lozano was in bad form or injured like for long periods of time, and he just couldn't adapt, right?
What about
But
Vega
on to Vega.
and
Vega,
Alvarado?
he
Piojo
had an awful
Alvarado
World
played
Cup.
too.
He had an awful World Cup. But
I mean,
right
hold
now
on.
Vega's got 5
The
goals, 6
conversation,
assists in 22 matches, and so he's showing his quality right now. And right now I want him playing in the national team, center attacking midfielder. Maybe not as a starter, but I do want him to feature because he's hot, and you got to play the hot hand, and that ties back to Tata. Santi was hot,
That's,
and he didn't play the hot
yeah,
hand, and
no,
that's a big
Josie
criticism
Altidore
from
was
me
hot
and
in
from
Holland
anyone.
too, man. Don't
and the
don't
thing,
don't let the
the thing
numbers
about
fool you.
Vega at that time was the conversation about his knee. Everyone was talking
yeah.
about his knee. Everyone was talking about his physical form, how he wasn't in shape, his knee was bad, he wasn't running correctly. Like all of these things were building up,
And they still said he was going to have a big World Cup. That's what they said.
and that's
But here,
why I
here,
quoted Santi tiene muchos goles, pero
yeah.
pocos minutos.
Okay, so
For,
it's okay. It was okay for Vega to be injured and go to the World Cup. Since your boy's spot was taken, it's Raul's fault, right?
I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm saying that Tata
Well,
fucked
that's what
us.
I'm hearing.
here, you could quote me on this though, man. That old saying, "El fútbol da revanchas," and I think he's getting his. Santi's getting his. I think he's gonna do well under Aguirre, and I think, and I especially I hope for this upcoming World Cup that he'll play a good role, especially if he could maintain his consistency.
Well, look, Santi has said a lot, but he's done very little. I think his goals need to do the talking, but I wish him the best. It's good to be ambitious. I mean, you want to hear that from a striker. Hey, I want to be out here and be the, all-time great. Like, good for you, man. But, I was watching that Netflix Starting Five documentary, and, they had a focus on LeBron and, how he's been in the game for 21 seasons and, like, what he does every day to prepare his body and recovery. He spends like $1 million a year on just his body, which is insane. And it just goes to show like that's what it takes to be considered, the greatest. And I think that is something the mindset from the Mexican is definitely lacking. But Santi, he's born differently. He was born in Argentina. Chaca Jimenez was his dad, so he has a leg up on some of these other strikers in Mexico, and we'll see how he goes. I hope that he gets the fuck out of Feyenoord. His audition is over. I'm sure that brace against Bayern Munich is gonna get him a lot of offers. I just hope he stays away from Milan. Leverkusen's definitely a sexier team. Or go to La Liga, but I don't know too many teams that can afford him that aren't Real Madrid or Barca. So we'll see how that goes. We also had Johan Vasquez doing really well at Genoa. He scored the other day. Good for him. Another player that his audition is over. He needs to jump to a bigger team. There's some transfer rumors that I didn't feel too good about. Nene Beltran. The latest rumor is that Tigres are interested in his services. How do you guys feel about that? I honestly think Nene has hit his ceiling as a Chivas player. We're not going to get much more out of him. He's clearly not even considered for the national team. He's an okay player. Him leaving Chivas, I know that Chivas would try to incorporate some kind of trade. So I'd be down for that, but want to hear your thoughts on that rumor.
So Vucevic was right, Jaime,
About what?
about saying his football, it doesn't transcend the team anywhere.
Is that what he said?
Facts.
That's what he said, and a lot of Chivas fans didn't held that over his head.
Yeah, true.
So then why is he
I was
trying to
wait,
get him
wait,
at
wait,
Tigres? That's
was
his
getting
coach.
beat.
Vucevic? You mean the
Paunovic.
Oh,
I thought you said
Pauno
my bad.
quit.
My bad. Pauno quit. Yeah.
Bitch.
Because I got quit on you guys too.
Pauno bitch, maybe.
You didn't quit.
Okay, so
I think,
Vucevic was right. He was 100% right, and all
Yes,
the
he was.
Chihermanos,
King Midas.
they all went after him, and they took it out on him because this guy couldn't deliver, man. That old guy was right.
I don't know about all that because who he was starting in ahead of Nene was worse. And at the time, we didn't have as a stacked midfield as we do now.
So who are they saying he's going to get sold to Tigres?
That's the rumor.
Or are they going to do a Kmart trade like the
Yeah.
Chimos do, like you guys like doing?
I would
Trade
be.
a player
They
for a player.
do. They do. I've heard it's for Cordova.
I would love that.
And I'm all for
Yes.
that.
I'd
I
be-
love Cordova.
yeah.
No, you guys
to come
in
over.
América Canterano no tienen vergüenza, man.
Well,
Always going
you're
after
rocking-
America's
you're rocking
sloppy
You,
Texas,
seconds.
you
bro.
guys do the same, man.
Always going
the
after
same.
America's sloppy seconds.
Negro Sandoval,
At least give me a phone call. Give me a heads up. You're gonna take my bitch like that?
You guys took Ramon Ramirez, man. The
You
Chivas
missed-
icon.
And that guy failed. That guy couldn't handle it.
Of course, it didn't want to wear that. That was sacrilege.
How
he
many of our
He was to the
Oh,
bone. He was forced to
all
be
these
over
years
there.
you've watched Liga MX? How many sloppy seconds have you guys gone from America?
Bro, you
The ratio is
what?
like 10 to 2.
You want to
Come
play
on,
that
man.
game with
10 to
with
2.
you
the
even
Bro,
ratio.
you
Hey,
guys just have
Masa.
Chicote and
Come
the
on.
Zendejas, bro.
Oh, you want me to name them off? I'll name them off. I'll be here all night naming them
I
off.
do want to hear that.
The
Gota
ratio
too, bro.
isn't in you guys' favor.
Gota's
The
there
ratio
too.
isn't on you guys' favor.
Also Cervantes. but the future is now. You Chivas as opposed to America right now.
You know what else is now? My tricampeonato
Oh my
that you will
fucking
never
God.
see.
Here we are.
He says
Gold
he's
You
gonna
will
play that
never
Bro,
card.
that
see.
I don't
red
know.
herring, bro. Stick to the topic.
You said the future is now. That's now. Shiner later on. Shine my 3 trophies.
Get that polish.
We had Chewy respond. He said, I'm enjoying listening to Ricardo's voice while it's still here before it disappears until the next campeonato. It's the only way to know that he's alive and not deported yet.
Oh shit.
If you stay long enough, they're gonna trace your YouTube, dude. You need a. He's probably the same one. He probably picked against America last tournament. That's why he's saying that.
Not sure, man, but
Chewy, you're my fan, man. Just come on, hop on if you want. If you think you know more than me, which I doubt.
Ricardo Marin offloaded from Chivas, joins Puebla on a loan. That's where we send all of our rejects. Villalpando, Ormeño. We've sent a lot of players to Puebla, man. And yeah, he's out. Let me go over some of these results, starting with match week 3. San Luis lost to Necaxa 3-0. Mazatlan beat Toluca 2-1. Uh-oh. Tijuana beat Querétaro 2-1. León beat Juárez. Chivas tied with Tigres. Cruz Azul tied with Puebla 1-1. America beat Santos 4-1. And Pachuca got the victory over Rayados 3-2. Pumas and Atlas 0-0. And then today we had Mazatlan beat Puebla 1-0. America, a very comfortable victory against San Luis 3-0. Chivas lost to León 2-1. And who else? Cruz Azul. How'd your Cruz Azul do, Diaz? Is he still here? Maybe he
Sí,
got.
güey, todavía que estoy.
Go ahead.
No, I'm here. I'm just doing good dad duties. Cruz Azul. Fuck, I'm trying to remember. I believe we tied. The last match, and it wasn't good, guys.
No, I'm talking about today.
I was not thrilled. Oh, today? No, wait. Today metimos la pipa 3-1, but still, dude, I'm not happy about it because if you look at the match, the team wasn't working coherently. The play wasn't flowing correctly. They weren't really connecting. Now, I said it in the match before que cuando veías a Cruz Azul se veía como un equipo that was playing con la pólvora mojada, ¿verdad? Se miraba como un pinche equipo deprimido de segunda, güey. Today, it started to come back a little bit, but the connection play isn't there for them. And the worst thing about this, and I don't know if we talked about this while I was performing my daddy duties, but rather, if we continue down this path, I don't see this interim coach thing working out. I don't want to see an interinato again. We need to bring in a coach. And as of right now, the way that it's looking is that if Victor Sanchez wins against Tijuana this next week, this weekend, he gets another week at the helm of Cruz
Vicente
Azul.
Sanchez.
Vicente Sanchez. There you go. So I'm not a fan of that. I would rather us bring somebody else in to get this things taken care of. It's kind of like an Efrain Juarez. I don't want Paiva, but that's a whole different thing. And you know why I don't want Paiva? Because he gets his dick sucked by an OnlyFans girl, okay? He's constantly on OnlyFans videos. If you guys don't know, es el hombre del antifaz.
Wow, dude. That is too much information that I didn't want to know.
Got too much time on your hands.
No, you guys haven't been on Twitter long enough or listening to the Mexican podcasts.
So the thing about Paiva though is that he has a great free flowing style that could mesh well with this crop of Cruz Azul players. You know, Anselmi, he was very kamikaze in attack. So sometimes Cruz Azul, when they had all these numbers forward, they were exposed, and some teams took advantage of that, like Club America. You know, but Paiva plays somewhat similar. You know, very progressive, very attack minded, and so I think that'd be a good match. You know, but Paiva did shit the bed in the Liguilla, shit the bed hard.
Mm-hmm.
How are you gonna like spank America and then just like absolutely like have them eat your lunch? You know, so and then he complained about the league the whole time. You know, so like it felt like the press was out to get him in a certain sense because he wasn't very well trained with the media or to handle the media. So he has like these faults, but he does have some merit to him as well. It might be a good pick if they go with him.
You talking about the same guy that lost the series to a Costa Rican team?
I'm talking about the guy who had Toluca looking really good during the regular season last tournament.
I'm talking about the guy that had Toluca lose to a Costa Rican team.
You know, that happens. That happens sometimes. But You know, America just lost to an MLS team in Inter Miami. You know,
Oh, you're just
does that
reaching now.
negate all
Te
of what's
enojates.
his face's work? I don't think so.
Te
So like,
enojates.
no, nah, Chales. But like, I'm just stating like, you know,
No,
what's wrong
the
with your
difference
argument?
is that was a friendly. This guy lost in an official tournament. Not only lost, he
Okay,
choked against a Costa Rican team. He's not a
so
good
when
coach.
America choked against Real Salt Lake, mighty MLS Real Salt Lake, does that throw out the
I don't know
baby
what you're
and the
talking about.
bathwater?
When was
For
this?
this was like last Leagues Cup last year.
I don't watch MLS, dude. You gotta ask someone else.
Well, it's
I'm
not
not a I'm
MLS,
not a
it's
major
Leagues
league
Cup,
spick. I don't
and it
watch
was
that stuff.
America who lost to a
That's a chocolate
mid-table
tournament.
to like bottom of the
Talk
table team.
about my three-peat. Don't talk about a chocolate tournament.
Okay, but it's a chocolate tournament with all your stars that you guys lost.
Yeah, because you're forced to play it. Come on, Dunn. It's fake news. Come on.
I mean, they tried. You know, Malagon, I think he was crying at the end of the match. So it's not like they weren't going all in, you know, but like the point I'm trying to make is that like anyone can have an off day, right? It doesn't undo all the good work you do, right? And that's the point I'm trying to make. Paiva, he has his deficiencies, but I think he's a quality coach.
We'll see who ends up coaching Cruz Azul. The last match today, things are not going good for Juan Carlos Osorio. They lost 4-0 to Tigres. And that concludes at least the half part of Jornada 4. There's going to be some more action tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. But I'm loving these double jornadas. It gets me through the week. And yeah, we got Atlas Monterrey. We have Querétaro Pachuca, Juárez Santos, Pumas Toluca. I think we can all agree that the best matches were today's. And after 4 match weeks, we have Tigres in first place with 10 points. America right behind them with 10 points. León in third with 9. Mazatlan in fourth. I got my eyes checked today. I went to the doctor. Are you serious? They're in fourth position. Pachuca in fifth. Necaxa in sixth. Cruz Azul in seventh. Toluca in eighth. Pumas in ninth. Juárez in 10. I'm going to take a screenshot of this and see where we end up after 17 fixtures because this is looking crazy. Santos in last position. Puebla second to last. Atlas in 16th. Chivas are in 11th, so right out of the play-in position. But
Nothing new.
So what, Ricardo? 4-Pete or what?
You want are you forcing me to give you an answer right now?
I'm asking you. What do you think?
Give me 2 more weeks and I'll give you your answer.
Oh shit. Okay, I like it.
I want to see how they look like with the whole team.
Who's missing?
Henry Martin, Diego Valdez, Buffalo Aguirre. Buffalo Aguirre, the same guy that a lot of America fans and certain very ignorant casual anti-America fans that called him a lackluster signing for America last season. He scored 8 goals off the bench for America. If that's lackluster, I want to know what other, besides that Paulinho guy, what other guys coming off the bench? Well, that guy didn't come off the bench. What I'm saying, what other guy would come off the bench and score 8 goals for a team like that? That was a great signing, underrated signing for America last year.
Mm.
And we need him back. And after I see the entire team, I'll give you my prediction.
So just to touch on Diego Valdez, he played this last game for the U23 of Club America, and he scored a goal in that game for the U23. But this tells me that he's got a foot out the door, and they don't want to see him injured, so that the deal doesn't fall through. I mean, so that the deal falls through, right? So like, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go. which is unfortunate because I don't know where he's going, but his form has fallen tremendously, and hopefully he can get that up wherever he goes.
Well, unfortunate for America fans. For you, you should be celebrating. Every time he played against you guys, he went. It was a Mr. Nasty time. What was that guy Conor McGregor say? Red panty night. That's what it was for him. Every time he played Chivas, he scored a fucking golazo. You should be happy, Riffraff. You don't have to see him anymore.
Oh, you guys pinned tweets in there. Let's see what it was. Oh God, DSY, bro.
Pa que no me llamen cochino, güey.
Oh
Yo nomás
my
les digo lo que está
God.
pasando en Twitter.
Who the
That's-
fuck?
And
is-
I'm sorry. I gotta take it back. It wasn't Renato Paiva. It was Lalo Treyes.
I was about to say, bro.
I'm sorry, I confused the two viejitos.
Yeah, they have the same what do they call it?
Profile.
Profile, yeah. Chewy says, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a fan of all you guys. You get me through my shift as a mailman. Hey, shout out to you, man. That is it's a tough gig.
Shout out to you, guy.
Güey, ¿cuántos perros te corretean? ¿Peor que el carnicero o menos?
I know, right?
Hey, this guy Abigail's taking it pretty easy. If I was glazing Jardine and he didn't deliver, I'd be embarrassed to get on the podcast. He fucking quit on you. He made you spend. He took your fucking money. He made you spend on a bunch of signings for the next coach. We don't even know if the next coach is gonna like some of the signings, and he quit on you. And the Chi Hermanos, a lot of them are excusing that. They're saying
Sí.
that, oh, va a cumplir su sueño en Europa just like everyone else. He quit. He quit like a bitch.
Fuck no, I'm not letting him off easily. Now, the difference between you and I is the fact that I'm willing to show face week in and
No,
week out.
the difference between
Regardless,
you and me
while you
is
go
that
back to being a
Jardine
little
won 3
bunker
titles
bitch,
in a row.
listening to
Won
us,
3
too
titles in a
scared
row,
to
you
show your
little
face around
hermaphrodite.
here.
Won
Porque te
3
escondes,
titles in a
güey.
row, you
Me
little
vale
tranny.
verga, no estoy hablando de eso, estoy
No,
hablando de
you
ti
should.
y
My
de tu
dick's all over your
carácter, güey.
face.
I am talking
I dick
about what
slapped you
you are
for
made
3
out of.
finals in
And
a
you know
row.
what that is?
I dick
Weakness
slapped
and
you, and I
bitchetry.
dick slapped your
You go
mama.
back to your little
I
bunker
dick
and you
slapped you
hide.
and your mom.
We called you a bitch, we
All
called
right,
you a
I dick
cuck, and we
slapped
said
you.
everything
Quedaste como
else. Y
pendejo.
adivina qué, güey.
Quedaste
Ni
como
viniste.
mojado. Quedaste como pendejo y mojado. Trump's gonna come after you for being such a fucking loser. You're taking someone's spot in this country. That's what happened. You're a fucking loser, and
Mira,
you're
mija.
You're celebrating that he left over there.
Mira, mija, a mí tu presidente me la pela y le faltan manos para
Shut your
pelármela
bitch
bien.
ass up. Your team lost. You're my bitch. Just like Cruz
Señorita,
Azul is
te
America's bitch,
sientes
you're my
valiente
bitch.
viniendo aquí, speaking
3
revisionist history.
finals.
Not a problem.
3 finals in a row, asshole. Have
It's
some
okay.
shame.
You know what?
No, it's not okay.
The
You're my
fact that
bitch.
you hid for
Shut
a
your
whole
mouth.
season
You're my
leaves
bitch.
me beyond it.
You're
But you know
my
what? Let's get
bitch.
back onto topic about
You're my
soccer.
bitch. Let's move on. Quédate como pendejo, as usual. Hey Jaime, I don't think you were on the last podcast.
No,
This
I wasn't.
idiot claimed he saw a goal from Eddie Lira. And this guy, before he scored his first professional goal against the Internacional team in that friendly, he swore to the fucking heavens that he saw him score a bunch of golazos. You know what we call that? Some people would call that the Mandela effect. Seeing shit that isn't really there.
Mm.
I'm gonna have to call this the Mojado effect because this guy's a fucking idiot. He sees shit that's not there, and he's still yet to provide a photo or a video of Eddie Lira scoring a goal before that last friendly. Y quedaste como pendejo as usual.
No, güey. And I said it on air. Me la como. No hay pedo. ¿Sabes qué? Esa sí la agarré
So
mal.
thanks for proving my point. You're a fucking idiot.
No, güey. I swear I had seen him score goals. Turns out he
Well,
hadn't.
like I
Pero
said,
you know what?
some people
No hay
call that
pedo.
the
Los últimos
Mandela
dos
effect.
goles.
I'm gonna
Pinches
call that the
golazos.
Abigail Abdias Aboriginal Mojado effect. That's what I'm gonna call it. Because you're an idiot. You don't watch. You're a major league spick. You don't know any better. You watch MLS all day. You're waiting for the limited edition MLS dildo. That's what you're doing. No sabes if you don't know shit about Mexican soccer. You're a cerote.
All right, enough with the insults. I was not on the last episode. Big shout out to Rifalo for hosting. There was something on that episode that I wanted to comment on because I think that was right after the match between Mexico and River and how we lost. And I think there was this consensus about, oh man, like, you know, other countries are not going to respect us anymore. It's lowering our prestige because we lost to a club team. I'm like, let's be honest, bro. Nobody respects Mexico like to begin with, so we're not really losing any stock price there. That's all I wanted to add from the previous podcast. But yeah, dude. Looking at the tabla de goleo, we have a Colombian in first place, 4 goals for Necaxa, Diver Cambino. And then Juan Francisco Bruneta from Tigres has 3. Davila from America has 3. And Zendejas has 2. That is your top 4 leading in the goal sector for the season.
Now, really quickly, speaking about the leading goal scorer, do you know what team he's coming from? Es la ley del ex, güey. He's former Cruz Azul. He scored twice on us today. One of them was disallowed. And just to bring it all back, guess who was the coach that said that they didn't need him?
Yeah, good for him.
And no one cares about Cruz Azul, man.
I was watching the Colombian broadcast of the Chivas León game. Shout out to Habibi. He shared the link, and I'll be honest, man. I did not know that J Rod had such a following in Colombia. But they are, praising the Liga MX league, and they had a lot of knowledge about the Mexican league. So it was refreshing to hear a broadcast that was not Mexican.
What were they? Give us some highlights. What were they saying?
No, they just knew like a lot of the players pretty well, and on one of the goals, the guy started doing a Don Omar like song impression. It was different for sure, but less like mamadas that you hear on the broadcast in Mexico. I also had the broadcast from Tubi. I guess Leon decided to host the match there on Tubi in Mexico, so with the VPN, I was able to listen to that broadcast, and it was just shithousery, man. They're very unprofessional. I was also listening to the broadcast between was it Tigres and Tijuana, and that was on Azteca, and like, yeah, dude, it's so unprofessional, bro. I think we're a little bit more professional on this podcast than they are. But it's it's entertainment, it's entertainment, but it's like, come on, bro, like let's hear the game, let's hear the call,
You know what a broadcast I absolutely loved when I heard the Caliente one, man.
Yeah, they're good.
Those guys were on point. They're hilarious, and it's like it's not they're not bound by like the corporate interest of TUDN or Televisa. Or Telemundo. Or like ESPN, right? And so they're a lot more unfiltered, and that's just so refreshing. And I try to listen to a Caliente broadcast whenever I can.
Chiming in on different broadcasts, another good one that I was able to enjoy today is Claro Sports. Yeah. Claro Sports puts through a good fucking televised package. Now, their commercials, absolute shit. I did not know that Grisage was that big in Mexico, or at least it was televised in Mexico. But guess what? Claro Sports televises it.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're all trying to figure out how to watch Liga MX here in the States, and there's like the legit way to do it, which is to pay for a lot of subscriptions, and then there's the halfway to do it, which is just get a VPN and change your location to Mexico, because a lot of this stuff is on YouTube for free. Azteca broadcasts on YouTube for free. Even TUDN in Mexico does. Caliente, Claro, all those YouTube channels. If you change your VPN in Mexico, you can watch them. And then the last way, which is just to get a cracked Fire Stick and do it that way. But yeah, it's a pain in the ass, man. Here you need to have a VIX subscription. You need to have a cable subscription, and you have to also have Telemundo. You got to get lucky on Telemundo. And I forgot who else has rights in Mexico or in US, but yeah, it's all over the place.
Fox, Peacock.
I think Fox lost their rights. I will say the biggest upgrade.
I think a lot of them.
Go ahead.
I think a lot of them are on Direct TV, but I'm looking at the prices, and we're talking like 160 to like 190 a month.
Yep.
And I thought that was pretty ridiculous, man. And I can't do that. I'm not gonna do that. And that's just one of the awful things about our league. One of the many things that I just wish we didn't have to deal with. But here we are.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, I think Fubo also dropped. I forgot what channel, and it's like Fubo is no longer like the place to get Liga MX matches. But I use YouTube TV, and you don't have to subscribe to the base plan. A lot of people have that assumption that you have to pay for the base plan. You can just sign up for the Spanish programming, and that should take care of most of it. But there are going to be paywalls with VIX Plus, and then if you are a Chivas fan, you have to have Peacock or Telemundo. Sometimes they put them on Universo. Yeah, I really try to watch the Amazon Prime broadcast of the Chivas games because there's some talent on that broadcast. I'm just going to leave it there.
Now, the other thing that I do want to point out is if you're listening to this podcast and you're one of our monolingual listeners, I do want you to know that TUDN and VIX have been doing a simulcast in English for whatever game they deem to be the game of the week. So today, I myself, because I have certain means to watch a game, I was watching it in multi-screen. I had Claro Sports with Cruz Azul in one match. I had TUDN in English on another screen. I had what's it called? Who is it? The Colombian Win Sports for the Chivas game, and then I had Azteca Deportes for the Tigres match. And it all worked very well, and hopping between English and Spanish was a beautiful thing. So just so that people who aren't that well versed in Spanish know that there is an alternative.
Do you know who?
All you have to do is press that SAP button.
Who's on the English broadcast? Do you know?
Oh, I don't know his name. Wait, I want to say Alejandro Berry. He's got that like super punchable face. He's one. And then I can't. I know, bro. God, like fucking hate crime. Just seeing him, just un putazo out of nowhere. Pero and I can't remember who else. But one of the big things that I fucking hate it is that they try to speak English in the same way that they do Spanish. And it doesn't really tie together. And because they primarily speak Spanish and they're used to speaking about the game in Spanish, there's a lot of dead air and a lot of filler, meaning a lot of so they need to refine that part. Like you said, we could do a much better job than some people who try to broadcast a match.
So I just been watching Roja Directa, and then I've been casting it using my Chromecast onto my TV.
Nice.
That's been doing wonders. And that's what I recommend. That'll save you a lot of money.
That's funny.
Listen, boys, everything is free on the internet if you know how to sail.
Yeah, I think if it's just you watching, like it's fine. But when you have like family and they want to watch the game on the big screen, it gets kind of annoying having to find a steady stream that's not going to crash on you. Sometimes you just have to go legit or find a semi-legit method. But I think maybe I'll try to make a YouTube video tutorial on just how to watch Liga MX because unfortunately, there's a lot of people that don't know how. Especially if they're new and they're just curious about the league. We have some interesting names in Liga MX now, especially now with James Rodriguez. And people just want to tune in from time to time and like they just don't know how. So maybe I'll volunteer and do that for sure. Um, one other thing, where is America playing their games? Because I saw a photo of el Estadio de Deportes and it's like yellow now. So like, what the fuck is going on, man?
Well, Cruz Azul, they got their bitch took in their manager, and America took their stadium. Well, not their stadium is they don't own the stadium, but they they ended up agreeing to play their games there.
So how
Yeah, Cruz Azul moved out after the whole fiasco with the corrida de toros after the mayor of Ciudad de los Deportes came in and shut down the stadium because like right next door, Coco had just had their live performance in Mexico in La Plaza de Toros, and you can't have two mega venues that close to each other, especially that they're filling out the way Cruz Azul did and that Coco and La Plaza de Toros did.
They just didn't want you guys there. That's what happened.
Hey, I never doubt the funny dealings of backroom when it comes to Mexican soccer. There's always those backroom deals, especially when we're talking about El Tigre.
Damn it, that guy took them to Puma Stadium too.
I know, bro. It's fucking disgusting,
he
and I
fucking
hate
bet
it.
you guys over, and
You know what's the worst
you guys are
fucking thing,
clowns.
dude? I was watching the game today, and Necaxa actually has a really nice fucking stadium. And I felt myself being jealous of fucking Necaxa, dude. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong here? That's why
Damn.
earlier in the week, when the outrage between the fans shifted from, yo, we just got fucked over by our coach, and yet we have to play our games in Seoul. Like, you just spent
Yeah.
massive amounts of money. We just talked about this triple-digit $1 million, and we don't have a fucking stadium. You know what? Give me a fucking stadium. And I talked about this in the last couple episodes about how, dude, I don't want to play in Seoul. I would kill myself if we win a championship in Seoul. I want my own fucking stadium. Wait, knit that.
That
If we
would
win a
probably
fucking
means leaving the FA. Would you would you like the team leaving the FA?
I think we can hack it. We'll fill up any fucking stadium that we go to.
Yeah, because I mean that's because the majority of Liga MX teams they don't really own the stadium. It's the state that builds the stadium and owns it and leases it, or just to have the team there because it brings tourism and whatnot. Veracruz is building their stadium, and it's the city that's building it. Um, you know, Jalisco's not owned by Atlas; it's owned by Clubes Unidos Jalisco. Um, Necaxa, I think I remember when they built it, and Ron's not here, but I believe that Panama borrowed those blueprints, and that's their national stadium. They used the same one.
It's a
Don't
nice
at
fucking
me,
stadium,
but
dude.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, there's and yeah. So if you were to do like the NFL, like the Raiders, like a lot of these teams do, and it's like, who's gonna build me a stadium, state of the art with my own VIP room and private elevator? We'll move the team. No, it's very iconic, but Cruz Azul did not start in the FA. They were in Hidalgo, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
And that's where the renderings as of right now have it taking place. They have it set in the foreground of La Cementera.
yeah, well,
So
Bill,
what you you would see La Ciudad Cementera de Cruz Azul, ¿verdad? You would see the factories, you would see
oh,
everything in the
nice.
background when they do that white shot. la
Nice.
cooperativa, todo lo demás. Pero they actually talked about this in the English broadcast on TUDN about how Cruz Azul currently doesn't have a home and they are in negotiations with the Mexico City government to see where it is that they can find a permanent home.
Yeah, I think they've become pretty much staple. I mean, I don't know why the government doesn't. I know they recently. I think it was the Mexican government. You lads correct me if I'm wrong, but I think uh, there's this like initiative to like put money into high school soccer, I believe, to create soccer leagues. You guys didn't see that news?
No.
Man,
Que abuelo, una vez más, sorry.
I need to. No, it's recent, bro. I'm gonna look it up right now because it's pretty good if done correctly. Um,
In Mexico,
because it doesn't in Mex. That's the one thing that like has hurt them. That, for example, you go to places in Mex, there's no fields. Kids have to pay to rent those small fields. You have to pay like 5, 10 pesos, whatever. But you create the opportunities, and the players will, you'll start creating players as well. Cause and effect. And I think for a long time that has been lacking, like just not having that, because I think it could be a whole, and it's surprising me because uh, I would like to think it could be like here, like in football, especially like in Texas, where there's these high school rivalries for American football. They even have like the homecoming and all that, and you could do very similar in Mex, and think of how many thousands of kids now are playing that you could scout more kids that probably would have never, or they can't afford to be going to the escuelas de fútbol and or academies. Now they're playing in leagues, and that's more talent to dig out and or players to discover. Um, but this was like a while back, and who knows how much it's going to be invested and how serious it's going to be taken. But it's something I talked with Ron years ago, years that why it was lacking in Mexico, or why the government never seemed to care to do something like that. And there's that example about basketball. I don't believe it. You know how pretty much any city you could go to these parks, public parks, and there's basketball fields. I mean, fields to my football canchas. There's basketball courts. There you go. There's basketball courts, and so I mean that gives all these people a chance to play. All these kids that could just go and play after school or whenever, and then or just end up like in the sport, and then what's next for them? High school when they're going to school, or be it elementary, middle school, whatever. And it's a path. You're creating a transition, and it's one of the reasons why basketball grew in a short period of time, because you had you were giving all these kids this opportunity to play the sport. Um, and I think in Mex, I don't know, dude. I really don't know. I don't live over there. I don't know if this ever has been talked about, but I do feel like it would be huge in Mex if they could do that.
you're saying something that isn't huge here would be huge over there
What? No.
because
Hey, what?
high school soccer here isn't big, correct? Well, I don't know
No,
about
yeah,
you
it's
guys.
not.
When where
No, no, you're right. It's not.
here in Houston, I just drove past my high school the other day. Keep in mind, I graduated in 2010. They just barely built a soccer field. They would have to go to like
Yeah,
a church to like practice.
yeah.
What I'm saying,
No,
that's something they should already
yeah.
had over there.
In Mex.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you. I really don't know what happened, but I do think Mexico, because Mexico's already a soccer country. So that just providing all these outlets for kids to play, and I think it would have really good results. Um, that's why right here I compare it to basketball. Not soccer here, even though, but I do think it yields good results. That's one of the things this country has, like all that infrastructure, where a bunch of kids that don't have money still have that opportunity to play, and eventually a lot of them do end up um, playing in top schools or being scouted, and so yeah, I think that has benefited them greatly as opposed to if they only relied on academies or just their clubs. That's hundreds and hundreds of kids they would have not had access to.
Hey, Joel,
Yeah,
whatever happened to that guy you said you're going to bring on the podcast? The one that was like
bro,
the
I'm
youth
gonna
coach?
reach out.
I want to grill
He,
that guy about something.
you remember?
I'll
So
keep
this
it
guy,
PG, but I wanted to
his
ask him
name's
some
his
serious
name's
questions.
Jose. His name's Jose, and I went to high school with. Well, we actually went to since middle school, and high school. We kind of he was a year older than me, and he got drafted into um, the U.S. Project 40, and that was I think it was the first generation Project 40, first or second, or one of the first ones where they were getting like the top players from all over the country, and then they were like this was before they had their Bradenton Academy and all that, but they were already like trying to prep them for the national team, and then he got a contract with the Galaxy, and he played like I don't know between 1 and 3 seasons with them. But I remember he had gone uh, on loan to Colo Colo. I don't know if it was like on loan to play or just to like. I think it was just to practice through the Project 40. So I think he was like, and when he was over there, I remember he messed up I think his ACL, and then that was pretty much. But he ended up coaching, and he was coaching. I forgot what division. 'Cause I don't. It was like third division, I believe. I haven't been here, but yeah, I kept he couldn't come up because of his job. We couldn't get like a real date, and then he did. He finally gave me his number, and then by a bunch of shit happened. But you're bringing it on, way. I'm a call him and try to set it up because the reason to bring him was he went because we grew up inner city, so he did the whole trajectory from inner city all the way to national team and getting a pro contract, which is pretty huge. Considering the possibilities is like 1% or less than 1% of all players they want to be, and that's pretty much for the majority of the sports. Um, and just to see how it is, uh, try to dispel some of these myths about people being held back or if it is just money or because I mean he's first-hand account, on all levels pretty much. So that's a big reason. And also to like if he could give advice to people listening that have kids or if you're young enough want to want to try your hand at football, just on closing this long thought. And if you like football and if you don't make it as a player, there's still a lot you could still do through football. Um, and they could you could still work with, at clubs or organizations or whatever, and you're in the game. That's going to be my closing thought. Yeah,
Yeah, for
since it was
sure.
a long rant.
I actually forgot about that too. But
No, see,
see if you can get him to join. I also don't know what happened
yeah,
with el güey que se iba a ir a Cruz Azul, siempre sí, siempre no, el de Emi Ochoa. Abdias, do you know if that was confirmed or no?
Not as of yet, dude. That's why when you brought him up, I was like, who? who the fuck is Emmy Ochoa? And you know what? I know you're homies with him. You can send them both messages from that time and this time. He's not coming here. Fuck out of here. If anything, look, take a look through the pinned tweets here and look at the job that Kevin Mier can do with his feet. All right, I put it on there. It's fucking beautiful. Emmy Ochoa, wait, just stay in San Jose. Keep playing your small club ball. Like, don't worry about it. Focus on you.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it was
Well,
official,
guys,
and then I don't know.
all right, here I found it. So this is from January 17th. So just what 10 days ago. It says niños y niñas podrán entrenar con jugadores de la, wait, what the fuck is that? No, up here. La Secretaría de Educación Pública ha anunciado que ha realizado un convenio con la FIFA, la Federación Mexicana de Fútbol y el Consejo Mundial de Boxeo con el fin que estos deportes lleguen a las escuelas. Shit, box?
Putazos y
Damn, pretty hard.
fútbol. ¿Qué más quieres, güey? That's Mexico in a nutshell.
Did you
Like
say
the
WBC,
XFL?
Consejo Mundial de Boxeo?
CMB.
Yeah, well, that whole thing's a sham. Though that guy's the most
Damn.
corrupt piece of
Why
shit
are you
in
breaking my
boxing.
heart here?
That's not going
Oh,
anywhere.
man.
That guy's a scumbag.
Also, this is from Shingbong. She's part of the organization to up sports.
Presidenta.
Here it
Presidenta.
is. Torruco Garza explicó que esta unión será con el fin de que haya torneos de fútbol para millones de niños y niñas de escuelas primarias del país y así poder tener esta oportunidad de mostrar su talento.
No mames, güey. ¿Qué está pasando? ¿Están viendo Captain Tsubasa en Netflix o qué? ¿El torneo nacional? Like, no mames.
La Ñupi, güey. Puro Ñupi aquí. I couldn't do that.
Es que yo
I
soy
pretty much
delicado,
missed
güey.
first
Puro
period.
chicken.
Puro
I
chicken.
missed my whole first period in high school because I would watch Super Campeones, and I don't know if you guys watch that, but those matches would take a week because the dude would shoot the ball, and right before he hit it, they'll cut to a flashback of how he learned to do a special kick, and that would take like the majority of the episode. Remember the time he hit it? It would
Wait.
like, all right, come back next day, and then the goalie, you see him diving, and they flashback to whatever the fuck happened in his life. And but dude, I think imagine if that was like the real games.
Güey, why are you slandering
It's a
Super
novela.
Campeones?
I'm not
Next thing I
slandering,
know,
dude.
you're gonna be over here talking shit about Caballeros del Zodiaco.
Oh, dude, that was my two cartoons right there, bro. You might as well been
Huevo.
in the same sofa. Yeah, no. They use the same formula. They-
Wait, es la
iba a
misma
mandar un
fórmula de
putazo.
Dragon Ball Z.
But these were before, man. So Dragon Balls needs to bow down to this. This was what 10 years. Who knows? Because some of these are fucking old, right? They're like really old Magnas or whatever they were. Like
Yeah,
before they
ahora.
were cartoons, a lot of these were already around. So I take it back. I don't really know how old the comics were from Japan.
Ahora, niños, nomás para que sepan, Netflix has done a remake and it's fucking beautiful. All
Wait,
right,
of which,
so
Of
of,
what?
of which way?
Of what?
Super Campeones.
Oh.
Oh snap!
Yeah,
Wait,
2
if
seasons,
it's
bro,
a-
like 100
wait,
episodes deep
wait,
so
wait.
far.
Is it like the typical Netflix where Oliver Atom is now Tyrone?
No,
And
no, no,
then-
güey.
So
No.
everyone's either black or gay now.
No, well, I don't know about that part yet. We haven't gotten there yet, pero
That's Netflix.
el
right?
vato todavía se llama
They don't give a
Tsubasa.
fuck.
Y Kobayashi y todos los otros nombres que te acuerdas, güey.
Oh, they
They're all
kept the
there.
names in. Well, I know them.
Yeah,
I'm a beaner, dude. I know them in Spanish.
I do too. Dude, do you
Dude,
understand
also
how
the Japanese.
heartbreaking it is to watch Dragon Ball Z in English? I'm like, bro,
Yeah, no.
Goku gets his ass beat day in and day out. Like that voice, no mames. Ahora lo oigo en español y a la verga, ese vato tira putazos.
All right.
Yeah, these dudes. And if you watch that cartoon, they do some cameos of like like kind of players that kind of look like. So I think for Mexico, I think it's like a Campos clone.
Wow. Well, boys, we're at the 2 hour mark. Want to give you guys your opportunity to
Yeah.
have some closing thoughts and put a bow tie on this episode. Big shout out to Chewy, who was very active in the YouTube comments. Who wants to go first?
I already
You know what?
did mine. So.
Fuck it. I guess I'll go
Alright.
first. All right. So, man, I guess my closing thoughts are it's wild how it is that life changes, right? At one moment, you're at the top. At the other moment, todos están puteando en la liga because your coach abandoned you. I know last season I was here talking about how my dad doesn't run away. He comes back home to beat the shit out of my mom, even though he doesn't love her anymore. But unfortunately, it seems like dad's been talking to other bitches and he found himself a side chick. And now here I am. And just like any child of a father who has multiple families, you start to realize that your main family starts to go to the wayside. In the same way that Cruz Azul didn't have any preseason, he sold off all of our interest. He mishandled our money. And now what we're going into is probably the toughest stint in our calendar overall because Cruz Azul, without having properly prepared now, dude, this week alone is about to be wild. So they stay in Aguascalientes to recover from the match. Then they have to fly to Tijuana to play the next game. After that, they fly back to Mexico City to train a little bit more. And then they have to fly back out to I don't remember, but I know it's Central America to play CONCACAF. So out of all of those things, we are now left wondering what's going to happen with this club and just not knowing. So just don't trust extranjeros, don't trust people who don't respect your league, much less your institutions.
Yeah, man. I'll be honest. We went through that with Gago. I didn't expect that to happen ever again. Like straight up leave your post. And it happened again. The no call, no show. I don't know, man. Has anyone ever done that at their work? Like that's a fucking big offender, man. And I don't know if you guys know this, but as an employer, they are obligated to like if you don't call in sick and you don't show up, like they have to make sure that you're like not dead yet. So they'll like reach out to like your emergency contacts and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, man, it's wild. And sorry, let me correct myself very quickly. They're not flying to Central America. They're flying to the Dominican Republic
Órale.
because on Monday they have a media day with Real Hope because they play on Tuesday. And so it's just a busy schedule, and we'll see what happens. That's why I don't want an interinato. I want a full-fledged coach. I want Efrain Juarez. But before any of that, I want a fucking stadium, dude. I'm done with this. We need our own stadium.
You guys ain't gonna get shit.
Not this season.
Listen, bro, I'm a A's fan through and through until they, left. But we were waiting on a stadium for like 30 years. It just never happened. They moved the team. Who's next?
So I'll go if no one minds. So my closing thoughts, same as always. I want to do a quick roundup of the Jovenazos, the sub-23 players in the league. The tally this week was 71 players total out of 378 player pool. So we have 198 starters, and of those 198, 71 people or morros played as starters or subs, which is 19% or almost 1/5, and that's a drop down due to America fielding their first team basically. But the previous jornada, so I'm talking about jornada 3, not the one that just started today. I'm not including that. But, the previous jornada, so jornada 2, was at 79 with 21%. So we have a 2 percentage drop, but we're dancing around 1/5 basically, which is great numbers. I've stated that it took us a long time to get to this area, like to this to 19, 20, 21% last tournament. And it's the start of the fourth jornada and we're already there. So it just goes to show you that there's a lot of kids that are playing, and I just wanted to highlight a few of them. So let's go to, hold on one second. All right, so at Pumas, I hyped this kid up last week. Abdias gave me shit because he ate 3 goals last week, but this week he was able to get a clean sheet, and that's Pablo Lara, 19-year-old for Pumas. He's the starting goalkeeper. Padilla still has not featured, even though he is on loan from Athletic Bilbao. So I think there's some quality competition there. 2 kids, and then I've also heard that Julio Gonzalez, the starting goalkeeper, is not going to Europe. So they don't want him at Pumas. I don't know what's going to happen to
I think he
him.
went to Puebla, no?
But right now it's this battle for the goalkeeping spot between 21-year-old or 20-year-old Padilla from Athletic Bilbao and Pablo Lara, who is 19 years old and from the Cantera. I think he's going to be a good player for Liga MX. We'll see how he can develop.
Julio Gonzalez confirmed he's moved to Puebla.
Oh, okay. So the European move did not fall through. I mean, fell through because a couple weeks ago it was like he's going to Portugal, and now he's going to Puebla. So that must suck.
A little miscue there.
Yeah, at least he'll have some good mole not far from him because Puebla is known for their good mole. So kudos for that. Another guy that was really good this last jornada is Elias Montiel. I've been hyping him up for a while. He had an assist in Pachuca's 3-2 victory over Monterrey, and they did this in Monterrey's home, and he looked really good. He's an in-and-out starter almost every game for Almada. Sorry about that. And he's this great player. I really do think the world of him. During the friendlies, he had an assist against Inter de Porto Alegre, and as soon as he got on the field against the River Plate, we started to look like an actual team. So he was a definite upgrade from, I don't know, the guy from Mazatlan who was abysmal. Anyways, on to Chivas during not this last game, during this game as well, but Hugo Gamberos, an absolute beautiful player, like so silky, so many take on, so many duels won. I really do enjoy him. And then, of course, Theon Wilkie got the only goal for El Rebaño. I think he's 22 years old, big striker, kind of clumsy. But, he was there at the right time and he scored a goal, the only goal for Chivas that day. So kudos to him. Another guy that I wanted to shout out. Okay, so this guy, I was going to shout out Marcel Ruiz and Alexis Vega, because not because they're sub-23 players, but because, Vega got the assist and Marcel Ruiz got the goal. So they got hot. But yeah, that was all the guys I wanted to shout out. And again, we're at 19% or 71 total players. And that is my Jovenazo roundup. So thanks for having me, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for following.
Appreciate it.
The only
No worries.
the only bone I have to pick with Gamberos, because he did look lively in that first half, but se apagó in the second half and he got subbed out. But I mean, this guy's he's 17. There was some footage that was filtrated like a couple days ago or even today that him and Lamine Yamal were in the same tournament when they were like very, very young. So that's pretty cool.
I think the world of him. Yeah, like kids, that's a drawback to them. Like they can be inconsistent, right? And I think he's got to clean up his game a little bit before he establishes himself as like a title. I mean a starter. I mean for Chivas, and then we'll see where he goes from there. But I do think the world of him.
Alrighty, who's next? Who's left?
I don't have notes like riffraff. You're not gonna hear me flip pages. You're not gonna hear me make excuses for anyone. All I know is America's number one.
That's fair. I'll take it. I think a lot of people can acknowledge right now that we are, similar to the Chiefs. We are witnessing a dynasty, and there's no end in sight. Unfortunately, I'm over it, man. I'm fucking over it. I've been so over it. But for once, it's nice to see some consistency in Liga MX. Will it transcend to the national team? Probably not, because how many players are you pumping into the national team? Not that many.
Now, something really quickly that I would like to spotlight that I forgot during my closing thoughts is something has to be done about what happens at Estadio BBVA every single time that Rayados loses.
Oh,
Every single time they lose,
somebody gets hurt, no?
people get hurt, bro, and it's bad. One instant, it was inside the stadium while a guy was giving an interview for live on air,
I saw that.
and he gets attacked from the back. Another
Sucker
one
punch.
is a father and a son leaving the stadium where there's crowds beating them because their team lost. And this is a World Cup venue.
Yeah, that's a
So
good call out there.
just these things happening in the league and it being brushed away it can't be accepted any longer, especially this close to a World Cup at a World Cup venue.
Hey, man, that's what you get for being known as an inbred region in Mexico. All that cousin fucking is obviously doing bad for their.
Mira, wait. All I'm gonna say is that it was 12 Jewish families who originally settled Monterrey, and now here we are.
I'm not gonna say what kind of doctor it was. It was a Jewish doctor. I don't know if you guys know that quote from Kanye West. Anyways, who's left? We had Ricardo, we had Rifado. Joel had his closing thoughts. I guess I'm left. It was a lovely podcast. I want to again thank you guys for stepping up. Oh wait, Ron, are you gonna say something?
Yeah, just listening to you fucking losers. I feel good about myself. No, so my closing thought is this. With all the amount of coaches leaving the big clubs, Cruz Azul, Chivas, Pumas, and stuff like that. And I mean, I would have, I asked myself, if Liga MX had more international exposure, would we be seeing this type of shit? And I'd venture to say no. And I hate to be, I hate to say, to always talk about this, but Liga MX needs to go back into Copa Libertadores. Because I'm sorry, dude. It's like, the shit, I mean, sorry guys, I was just, getting over the flu. So it's like my voice is a little fucked up here, but I mean, for me, it's pathetic that Chivas, that they pull that shit on Chivas. They pull that shit, on Cruz Azul, with Pumas. That's just
but it wasn't just for random clubs. It's not like they just left. It's not like Gargo left to fucking Vélez Sarsfield. He went to Boca with a shot at the national team.
But
the other dude goes to Europe.
No, I get that. I get that. But what I'm trying to say is, for example, a couple, you guys were talking earlier about the Colombian League. I mean, did you guys know that a team like fucking Once Caldas won the fucking Copa Libertadores?
Yeah,
Ah,
of
yes.
course.
You remember that?
Yes. Yes.
So I mean, for me, if the Liga MX, we know that the CONCACAF hasn't done shit for the Liga MX in terms of international exposure after winning it 30 fucking consecutive times in a row. So I mean, in order to showcase Liga MX and make it more visible, more profitable, and just like get into more of an elite status, it needs to be a better product. And the only way to make it a better product is basically compete with the continent's best. And I'm, like I said, I mean, I know I
Yeah.
beat this drum all the time, but I mean, I just think it's pathetic that clubs like Cruz Azul and Chivas basically get fucked over like this. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
it's
mean,
ridiculous.
we
you
saw the expose earlier, well, towards the end of the year when they did that was Intercontinental Cup, and Pachuca beat basically everybody, got to the final. So I mean, we're getting some cred. We're getting some cred on the
Look,
street.
look. I get it. Look, the Intercontinental, the World, club and stuff like that. Uh, I get it, but it's not the same as the Copa Libertadores. It's not the same as the Copa Sudamericana, because I mean, there's a difference between a tournament that you play one or two matches to get to the final, as opposed to playing, you know,
Yeah.
all the amount of games to get to reach to the final of the Sudamericana or to the Libertadores. That for me has more value. But I mean, I was throughout the week, and the guys in the chat know this. I mean, I kept I was following up with the whole Cruz Azul and Selmi debacle. And even though I tend to side with Cruz Azul here, because I do think that and to quote Tuca Ferretti, it may be legal, but it's unethical.
On whose
Because
side?
Tuca Ferretti was ranting about
But unethical for
soy
Anselmi?
caducado, like he's saying that he's expired. He goes, is it because I'm 70 years old and I'm expired that
Wait, unethical
people
for
just
from whose side? From Anselmi or from Cruz Azul?
from Anselmi's side, saying Tuca Ferretti was going on about maybe it's legal what he did, but is it ethical? Is it moral? I have to agree with that. If you fucking give your word, finish the fucking season.
Yeah,
Finish the
I would
season.
say it's not
But
not ethical, but it's like very unprofessional for sure.
it is. But again, I understand. But there's like in the back there's a part of me that understands why they're doing this, because Liga MX doesn't offer anything internationally. And it's like, I get it. So, rather than going back to what do you call it?
It still
Like,
it still goes back to the same thing though, right? Because let's do devil's advocate. Let's say that Liga MX did return to Copa Libertadores, and these foreigners, these Argentine coaches, they get exposed and get more prestige there. But their end game is still the same. They're still gonna leapfrog to Europe. They're not looking at Liga MX to stay there and be a legend for the club and and win multiple titles. They're all trying to springboard into Europe, man.
No, I get that, but it gives the fact, and it's not me saying this. I've heard many foreigners say this, that when the Mexican teams were participating in those South American tournaments, it basically it incentivized those South American players and coaches that weren't able to go to Europe's elite. Their next stop was the Mexican League, and we got a lot of good players and a lot of good coaches because of it. But like I said, it infuriates me that look, I get it, the rivalry with Cruz Azul and Chivas and stuff like that, but that fucking that makes us look like shit. That some of Mexico's biggest clubs like Chivas and Cruz Azul get fucking they look like fools.
I don't know.
On the international stage.
I think you're looking at it from a different lens. At the end of the day, we did export, coaches to prestigious places, and that's going to put more eyes It's
Yeah.
gonna put
Did
more
you
eyes
see-
on the
did-
league. It's gonna put. What else you guys got?
Yeah, that is a positive.
That was his
No,
agency.
Run.
no.
That was
Did
his
you see?
promoter, man.
Did,
That was his
did you
promoter.
see? Did you see that clip of that Cruz Azul fan where he's talking about Jardine and Anselmi, and the guys on
I know which
ESPN
one.
just
I know
fucking
which one.
ripped him, and it's like, well, yes, you know, Jardine with his tetra, with his tricampeonato, but he didn't get an offer to Europe. Anselmi did. And it's like, so, and he was using air quotations and shit like that. And the guys are just fucking making fun of this fan. But the point is that, dude, it's like Cruz Azul looked like a fucking idiot. They got cocked. You know?
Yeah, okay.
They did. They're sitting.
Wait. Ron, really quick.
Yeah.
Need you to clarify this for me. Did Panama use Necaxa Stadium, the blueprints?
Oh shit. No.
Or is this fan
Necaxa.
fiction for my part?
No, but like I said, I mean, I just as much as I wanted to,
Wait. That's it. Just no.
no.
Who was it then? That used the same? It's like the same stadium. I think it's a team in CONCACAF.
Shit, I don't remember, dude. I know it's not Costa Rica because I know because the Chinese are basically building their stadiums over there in Panama and Costa Rica. So I don't think Cruz, what's the name? Aguascalientes. Which remember, I actually went there when they were building it, and I took photos of it. Remember? I posted it back in the forum back in the day. But no, I don't remember. But anyways, going back to the Cruz Azul and stuff like that, I just think it makes us look like Bush League, dude.
We are Bush League, bro.
You know?
We gotta own it. What the fuck, man? Our prestige went out the window a long time ago, dude. It's just the modern times that we live in.
If it wasn't for America right now, we'd be fucking El Salvador. I mean, that's
Hey,
the
El
only thing
Salvador
that's
has
keeping
fucking
this
got
fucking-
Bitcoin, bro. They're doing good. So that's not that used to be an insult, but not anymore.
No, I know. I used to make fun of those guys. Like, when they go to stadium, they had 3 tickets. They had Sombra, Sol, y Árbol. Because I remember every time, when they
That
had,
sounds like
you'd always see these games.
that sounds like Cruz Azul's situation right now. They're fucking couch surfing until further notice.
I know. But like I said, fucking Cruz Azul's in the fucking couch and the cut chair right now.
I know.
I mean, they have their stadium got painted
Yellow.
fucking blue and yellow.
They didn't even get painted. They just fucking pissed on it. They just fucking went in there and dropped their fucking pants and pissed it, and now it's yellow. That's exactly what's happening right now to Cruz Azul. But yeah, we got to sign off for tonight. Don't have any closing thoughts except for the fact that we do have CONCACAF kicking off next week. Wow, man, this year is going by really fast. Chivas, as I suspected, are going to be participating in the CONCACAF Cup this year. So they got something else going on aside from the League's Cup this year. So it's going to be fun. Also, want to broadcast this for people that are in the Bay Area. Chivas will be coming to PayPal Park. They're going to be playing Atlas in March. I believe March 20th is the date. You can already get tickets on Ticketmaster.com. We'll see if we get in. Also, they'll be playing in San Diego too against Tijuana. So those are the 2 friendlies happening very, very soon. But yeah, big shout out to everyone on the podcast tonight. A lot of action, a lot of energy. We still have Jornada 4 tomorrow, and then the matches on the weekend. So. Don't go anywhere. We'll be broadcasting again next Tuesday. And for now, hope everyone has a good one and good night. Thanks for joining us, Chewy. We appreciate your service as